Welcome to the Gray Area. The Gray Area Media. We've obligated ourselves to be the voice for all communities, speaking on topics that include community, religion, education, politics, technology, sports, health, and wellness. The Gray Area Media is a platform created by longtime friends for the sole purpose of providing our communities with the ability to voice current, past, and modern-day issues. The Gray Area and its naming significance solely speaks to the area in which people shy away from speaking because of media-based constraints or contractual-based obligations. Well, I'm here to tell you, we don't do that here. So please, stay tuned in. We're going to go live in a few minutes. Don't forget, please add us as a friend on Facebook so that you can follow our live feed. And not only that, please add us on Twitter and Instagram at The Gray Area Media. Please visit our website at www.thegrayareamedialive.com. Thank you. Hello, viewers. We are live again, and this is The Gray Area. This is your boy, Ray E.
This is your boy, P. Wills.
And this is Ebony.
Ebony in the building.
Yes, a lot of octave man in that Ebony. It's Ebony.
I have on my T-shirt today, so
Look
I'm
at that
feeling
shirt.
good.
Yeah,
That
shout
shirt
out
is
to the
beautiful.
T-shirt. Yeah, that
Shirt is beautiful.
That shirt is
We got our brother Nuri Muhammad in the building.
Man,
How you
Brother
doing?
Ray, I'm honored to be back on
Yes.
the airways with my brother and
Yeah.
my other brother.
Assalamu
Yeah.
alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, and my wonderful sister in unity with
Walaikum.
you all. Wa alaikum salam. To
Yes, sir.
help drop another airstrike on
Yes.
falsehood,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
negativity, and all its shades.
Man.
Needs to be addressed
That's right.
consistently.
That's right. Yes, sir.
We have a gift for you too, man. You left out of here empty-handed last time, so we made sure that
Y'all were the
you know
gift.
you.
Just access
We
to
want to
this
brand you.
platform was a gift.
Thank you.
Appreciate it,
Thank you. We
appreciate
appreciated you having you on, and in the world, man, it's just a constant battle, and it's our duties to constantly and consistently get out here and be vocal about it,
That's right.
talk about it, create dialogue, and hope that it can be shared with millions and millions of people because it's
sir.
necessary.
Yes, sir.
We are in a big battle, in this day and time, whether people choose to see it or not. There is something really heavy going on right now, and it's important for us to wake up as a community. What you guys, your organization, does is just what needs to be happening on all facets, no matter what religion you're a part of. What you guys have a model that works. Could you tell us a little bit more about what your organization does? Because we always have new viewers. Introduce yourself. We've done that already, but you have a way of branding yourself and your organization, and I just want people to have a glimpse of that.
Well, thank you, Brother Ray. Well, I'm student minister Nuri Muhammad. I'm the student, servant, and soldier
Yes.
of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and I serve as what they would call in traditional Christian or church language, the resident
Absolutely.
minister.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I live here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we are located right there at 2248 East 38th Street, right there on 38th in Baltimore, where you'll see Mosque 74, Muhammad University of Islam, Studio 74, Beauty and Barber Salon, and the Eat to Live Cafe in that one complex. We're just 2 blocks west of the White Casket.
Here we go. Here we go.
What?
Yeah.
Break it
That's the
down.
right
2
name.
blocks west of the White Casket.
That's the right name.
3
for it.
blocks west of McDevil's,
Okay.
and 4.5 blocks west of Long John Killers. 6 blocks west of the Murder King, right there on Emerson. So we're right there off of Keystone, but
Right.
that's us.
Yeah.
And we've tried to set up a place that can become a center for the re-education of our people, young and old,
Absolutely.
in the city. Every program that we offer is free of charge, whether it's for the children or women only.
That's
That
awesome.
we do on Saturday mornings just for the sisters from 9 to 12, or whether it's for the men to help us become better maintainers, protectors, providers, fathers, brothers, uncles, and husbands.
Absolutely.
That's on Mondays at 7:30 to 9. And then Wednesday we have at 8 o'clock a lecture. And this week I'll be there. And then on Friday we have a self-improvement study circle at 7:30. And then Sunday is a main day where we do a primary explanation of our teaching at 11 a.m. So that's us, and that's me, and I've been blessed. People like the way that I put the teachings and describe the truth.
Absolutely.
So I've invited a lot, and I go to maybe 50 or 60 cities a year.
Wow.
Incredible. Yeah. Brother Nuri, I have a question. Now, you know, you have some people out there that think that the Nation of Islam is a hate group.
Yeah.
What do you say to those that say that, that think that, and that aren't educated on what you guys do?
Well, we are a hate group. We hate lies. We hate alcohol. We hate crack cocaine. We hate disunity. We hate all of the negatives that have affected the entire world. But what unfortunately, Brother Pat, what happens with us is that most people assume that when you are pro-black that you're automatically anti-white.
Exactly.
But to be pro-black does not mean to be anti anyone else. It just means that you are trying to follow what they have found in science to be the first law of nature, which is self-preservation.
Absolutely.
So we right now, you know, we got a lot of family problems. I don't know how everybody else grew up, but whenever we start cutting up in my house and I had company over, even if they had planned on being there for dinner or spending the night,
Right.
and if somebody messed up, my mom would say, look, come here, y'all. All y'all company got to go. We got some family matters we got to take care of.
Absolutely.
And then after we took care of the matter, now you can call them back and tell them to come on back. Well, right now, that's what we have. We got family problems.
Right.
As a people, we got some family matters that need to be addressed. So we don't invite all of the other people that, to be honest, been causing the family problems in the first place.
Right.
We working it out for ourselves. So that is just a surreptitious way of a devil trying to call us what he is. See, hatred, according to the Bible, it has a progression, and a hatred leads to murder. So you see the story of Cain and Abel.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Cain was envious of his brother. Envy produced hatred, and then hatred led to
Murder.
So if we are a hate group, and we've been hating now, according to them, for 87 years.
Right.
Find me some murders that the Muslims have done to anybody that we're supposed to hate.
Right.
So we haven't murdered any Jews, any white people, anybody that they say we hate. It has never matured to murder in 87 years. Surely if we were a hate group of them people, murder would have been the offshoot. But we don't even carry weapons.
What do you say to those who correlate that with what's happening in areas like Pakistan, and you know, because that's what they do. They automatically assume that because that's your religion that you guys are affiliated with terrorist groups.
Well, you know that I just did a lecture in St. Louis, Missouri 2 days ago. It was called Islam Not As Seen on TV.
Right.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Right.
You know how they always have the as seen on TV, and every time we go to one of the trap houses, Walgreens or CVS.
Yep.
Well, it's a trap house. You just get some hand sanitizer and a Snicker bar, but it's still a trap house.
Indeed.
And the doctor's the kingpin. And you see, the kingpin don't touch no dope.
Yeah, pharmacology.
The doctor don't touch no dope. He's a pharmacologist. He's a legal drug dealer. Matter of fact, he just scribbles.
Right.
Hands you a little slip, and then you go to the trap house and you a sting.
Local pharmacist.
You go to the back, and then they serve you.
Yeah.
Legal.
You know, but in the trap house, there's always a section in there that says "as seen on TV."
Yeah.
And most people's mind, when they see that section "as seen on TV,"
Right.
that automatically means this is a product worthy
Right.
of my purchase.
Right.
Because for some reason, people think that if it's on television, if it's made it to TV, it's got to be the truth.
Right.
However,
Absolutely.
Jesus had 3 primary enemies. the Pharisees, Sadducees, and guess who the other ones were? Scribes.
Yes.
Scribes coming from the Latin word scribo, which means to write or report. So
Media.
the number one enemy of Jesus was reporters. So why would we think we could turn on the tell lie vision?
Right.
Y'all didn't catch that.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
tell a lie,
Yeah.
Telling a lie. Your vision is your image of the future. They're telling a lie to your. Why would we think that we could turn on TV and see Islam and
truth.
terrorism
Right.
being made synonymous with one another, and that's an actual fact?
Right.
No, the Ku Klux Klan is terrorists,
Yep.
but they claim to be Christians.
Right.
Come on.
Skinheads, terrorists, but they claim to be Christians. Trump claims to be a Christian.
Right.
Okay, top that. so no, we are a part of the broad community of Muslims that number 1.5 billion people.
Right.
And terrorism and Islam is no more synonymous with one another than you would say Ku Klux Klan is to being a disciple of Jesus.
Right.
So that is the myth. And,
Right.
and deeper than that, there has to be some study done on our part as a people so that we can see the other side of the news. Because ABC and CBS and Fox, all these major networks are run by the devil himself. That's, you remember what was we taught in the Bible about the number of the beast? It's the number of the man. His number was 666. Remember that? Revelations 13, I believe.
Yeah.
Well, if you add up ABC, turn each letter into its numeric equivalent, A is 1, B is 2, C is 3. What's 1 plus 2 plus 3?
6.
What about CBS? Every time you turn on, that's all you see is BS. but even if you add it together, C is 3, B is 2, S is 19. 3 plus 2 plus 19 is 24. What's 2 plus 4?
6.
Then you turn on another major network, Fox. F is the 6th letter. O is the 16th letter. 1 plus 5 is 6. There's 2 6s. X is the 24th letter. 2 plus 4 is what?
6.
So you got 666 in Fox and CBS, ABC. This is media really is an acronym,
Right.
bro, right?
Right.
You know what an acronym is.
Yes.
It's whenever a word has a letter and every letter in the word represents another word.
Right.
Yeah,
like CIA,
Right.
the Cocaine Import Agency. Or FBI, finding a black man to incarcerate.
That's a good one. I never heard about that.
Media is the most effective devil in America.
Yeah.
Wow.
So don't let them tell you that what you see going on in Iran or Saudi Arabia or Iraq, don't you let them think that they are the cause.
Right.
No, what you are looking at is an effect.
Right.
And if you would look and study the Confessions of an Economic Hitman, a white man that used to work for the government, telling you what he used to do on behalf of the foreign policy agenda of the United States of America to manipulate governments and create conflict, that they will cause a problem, then come in as the peacemakers just so they can get access to their mineral wealth. Now, go look at America's wars. They don't ever fight nobody that does not have mineral resources. So when Rwanda was killing each other, when the Sudan was killing each other, there's no gold, there's no oil, there's no drugs.
Right.
Another acronym. In God we trust. They ain't talking about Jehovah or Allah or Jesus or the Lord. They talking about gold, oil, and drugs on the back of their dollar. That's the God that they were. So because they didn't have nothing to offer, they never went in to solve the conflict. But all of a sudden, Afghanistan, we got to go in. And why? Because they got them poppy fields. Now heroin's back.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Have you noticed that?
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh, yeah. It's back
Taliban
strong.
gone, the Mujahideen gone, Al Qaeda dead, but heroin jumping back in the hood again
Oh, yeah.
from the poppy field. Now we got to go to Iran, we got to go to Libya, we got to get rid of Muammar Gaddafi. Why? Because he has the sweetest crude oil on the face of the earth. Now the gas price is back down again. Well, where'd you get the oil from? So we just we have
Right.
to, as you all are doing, we have to open our eyes
Absolutely.
and recognize that that we're dealing with spin doctors.
Right. Right.
We really the media, these people are architects of confusion.
Right. And it makes
They're
them money,
magicians.
so they don't really care.
Yeah, it's just they produce what they call excitogens.
Right.
They produce stories that bring about a level of emotional excitement
Right.
that gets us excited so that they can get their other agenda over. So everybody talks about now is the small things that Trump is doing.
Right. Right.
Yeah, he tweeted this, and he's saying something about this newscaster. He's attacking a comedian.
Right.
But you ain't paying attention to the real stuff this man is doing.
Right.
So
Right.
it's smoke and mirrors.
Absolutely.
So
What
no, we're not them in many ways, but we are them in many ways as well.
And that's what I was going to ask you. Can you break down the distinction between the Nation of Islam and what people deem as so-called Orthodox Islam?
Good
Well,
question.
and that's a good way to word it, Sister Ebony. She said so-called
Right.
Orthodox. Because the word Orthodox, the base word of Orthodox, ortho. Ortho means to straighten out.
Yep.
So when you go to get braces, you see an orthodontist.
Right.
You need to fix your walk, orthopedic.
Right.
Surgery, orthopedic shoes. Docs coming from the Greek doctrine. Orthodox Muslim is a Muslim that prescribes to a doctrine that straightens people out.
Okay.
So they so-called, we the real Orthodox Muslim in the nation, because nobody straightens out people better than we do.
Right. Right.
So technically we are that. But the difference that I would say to us is that unfortunately everybody that becomes a part of a religious system normally adopts the dominant culture of the people that participate in that religious system. So whenever you look at a Prophet Muhammad and a Quran coming from an Arab in Arabia, what has happened now is Arab culture has integrated itself into Islam. There's only 5 pillars of Islam,
Right.
but there's been a new hidden 6th pillar inserted, which is Arab culture.
Right.
So now you got black people that never were taught a knowledge of themselves, didn't have any real pride in themselves, but because they accepted a religion that was revealed to an Arab on Saudi Arabian soil, now next thing you know, they walking around in jalabiyas, which is the wardrobe of the foreigners in the East, and now they
Right.
got their pants leg rolled up. Knowing good and well the only reason they rolled their pants legs up in Saudi Arabia is because they live in a desert.
Right.
They was trying to keep sand from getting in their pants.
Right.
Ain't no sand in Hallville.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No sand,
Absolutely.
it's the concrete asphalt. Now you got henna in your beard. You got kufis. All this stuff is Arab culture. So what I would say to us is that we agree with and we support the tenets of Islam, all the 5 pillars.
Right.
But what we don't buy into is Arab culture.
Right.
And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said this recently. I was just studying something. He said, if you want to know what the Nation of Islam is, he said, we are like a synthesized version of the great principles of the 4 great noble ones that came among us. And he named Booker T. Washington. He named Noble Drew Ali. He named W.E.B. Du Bois, and he named Marcus Garvey.
Okay.
Marcus
Yep.
Garvey was about independent economics and land of our own.
Right.
W.E.B. Du Bois was about engineering and science and being talented and fighting on a mental level. Booker T, he said that cash your buckets wherever you are. I say he's the inventor of what I call the law of 3.
Right.
Which is one of the greatest formulas of success that you've ever heard. In other words, do what you can with what you have where you are.
Wow.
That's how you can become successful.
Right.
And then, of course, Noble Drew Ali was the first one to teach black people a religion of Islam that did not have an Arab or a white tint on it, but it had the pride of the black man.
Right.
So what we represent is a concise, synchronized, synthesized version of those principles multiplied by what Master Farad Muhammad gave to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad,
Okay.
all wrapped up in one. That is what has produced this programmatic thrust known as the Nation of Islam.
Yes,
So that's what we are. We got
Right.
religion and revolution.
Right.
come on.
No,
Right.
we don't follow the word and not be willing to go to war with our
Absolutely.
opponents.
Absolutely.
We got faith, but we also believe that we're gonna have to fight one day too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So because of that, we are striving to be spiritually, mentally, morally, and physically combat ready,
Right.
and economically combat ready as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, and that's a nice segue, man, to this. Last time you were here, you had said something about, and I'll paraphrase, but mainly that you're more of a man if you own your own business and you make $20,000 as opposed to working for someone and making, $100,000.
Yes, sir.
Why do you think that is? And can you just like break down the importance of black ownership?
Well, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, he said it like this. He said, "Do for self, or suffer the consequences." So, we didn't even really, if we had listened to what our mothers and grandmothers had us doing before we went to bed at night, we used to always have to get on our knees and put our hands together and pray.
Right.
And we all knew how to say the Lord's Prayer. But if we had listened to the words of the Lord's Prayer, we were asking God to bless us to be business owners all the way from the beginning.
Right.
Brother Pat said, how is that? Give us this day our daily
Bread.
Now, is not bread a synonym for
Cash.
money?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Give us this day our daily
money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, if you work a job, the white man don't give you daily bread. They give you weekly or bi-weekly bread. Only way you can get some daily bread is you got to be in business for yourself. So what we said last time is that you are more of a man
Okay.
if you work for yourself and make $20,000 a year
Okay.
than you are if you work for your enemy. And you are donating 8 hours of your day to uphold a system of white supremacy, and you make $200,000 a year. That's what we were saying. And whenever you work for yourself, you don't have a 9 to 5. And if you don't really want to work a 9 to 5, you better be prepared to hustle 24/7.
Right.
Because working for yourself is harder
Right.
than working for somebody else. So that was what we were sharing last time, is that concept. Do for self, and really find what you love to do,
Right.
and figure out how to make money doing it.
Right. Right. Because I believe that everyone was born with a gift.
That's right.
How when you find that gift, or whether you got a gift or something, whatever you like,
Right.
but
That's right.
most are either pushed into a specific category based on their upbringing, or just simply don't have the opportunity to let their gift shine.
Yes, sir.
But at some point in their life, they realize what that is. Sometimes it's, they make it to the grave before they could, implement that.
Man, that's rough.
So what do you say to those who are sitting right now trying to figure out what their gift is of life? And, because I have this conversation with a lot of people, and oftentimes people are trapped in their own mind.
Yeah.
The things that they say are a problem are only existing in their equation, like in their mind, in their box of life.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it like, like I said, I think I said this before, but this guy, he called me a while ago and said, "Man, all these haters are on me. Every time I wake up to try to do something, they trying to eliminate me from being what I can be." And I realized that, a lot of African Americans have this mentality where this allows them to not work with other people or appreciate or support others, because they always feeling like
Looking over the
somebody
shoulder.
is
Yeah, but
shutting them
see,
down.
Brother Ray, this is so deep.
Yeah.
There's a document that everyone that's listening could check out, and probably have already seen. It's a letter by a great slave maker and master from the 1700s by the name of Willie Lynch.
Yes, sir.
And he was hired by the American slave masters to come and show them a formula that he was working in the West Indies,
Right.
that had him with the most successful, well-governed plantation in the world.
Right.
So what Willie Lynch came to America and said, he said, I have in my bag a foolproof plan. If you work it, you will be successful. Your children will be successful.
Yeah.
And you can read the whole thing. But one of the things he said in there, Brother Pat, he said, I use fear, envy, and distrust for control purposes. See, the Bible says that God did not create man in the spirit of timidity, but he created us in the spirit of power, love, and self-discipline, and some translations say sound mind. The reason they're interchangeable is because you won't have a sound mind unless you have self-discipline.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So the original hardwiring of the original people's brain was power, love, and self-discipline.
Right.
What Willie Lynch did, he went in and restructured the frequency of our brains.
Right.
Took out power, love, and self-discipline and replaced it with fear, envy, and distrust. So now what you're describing and what the brother's saying is people hating on me every time I wake up, and you're saying it's hard for us to, it's called the crabs in the barrel mentality.
Right.
It is the residual effects of the Willie Lynch syndrome.
Right.
So you know, crabs in the barrel, if you had 100 crabs in the barrel, what ends up happening is that a couple of those crabs realize that if I climb on the back of 2 or 3 of them, I can get out the barrel and go free.
Right. Right.
What happens, though, is that as the crabs that realize they can climb on a few other crabs and get out the barrel, soon as the crabs in their barrel realize that they're using my back, instead of them saying, wait a minute, let me push them on out. Because if it takes 3 of us to free one, and it's 100 of us in the barrel, maybe we can free each crab one at a time, and they can get out the thing, tip the whole bucket up over, and we can go free. Or maybe they'll get out, and only 3 of us will die.
Right.
But the crabs in the barrel mentality doesn't do that.
Right. Right.
See, the first thing the crab do as soon as they see the other crab climbing on his back, getting out the barrel, is reaches up instead of using the claw to push him over, to use the claw to pull him back in. And say, who this crab think he is?
Right.
So what's happened to us, Brother Ray, because of our distrust and our envy, black people would rather have 100% of nothing than 10% of something.
Wow.
Wow.
So we
Gotta
could come
change.
together,
Right.
6 or 8 of us with like minds. Do you know how many people in the locker room say they want to start a grocery store? Do you know it's only 5 black grocery stores in the whole United States of America, but all of us eat?
Wow.
But in every bar, every locker room, you hear, yeah, I'd like to start a clean. You can find enough people that say they want it. But the question is, will you pull your time, your talent, and your treasure together?
Right.
Will you pull your mind, money, and muscle together with some sisters and brothers that think like you
Right.
and go in and make that sacrifice to make it happen? No,
Right.
we'd rather have 100% of nothing
Right.
than 10% of something. So that has to be fixed
Right.
in us. And that's what love of one another
Right.
produces, because we have a code in Islam that a Muslim is not a Muslim
Right.
until they love for their brother or sister what they love for themselves. So you can claim to be a Muslim, but you're not a real Muslim
Right.
until you are just as happy if somebody else is doing good as if you were doing good.
Right.
So when we come to this studio and see the high dignity that you all have set this up with, and the class that's here, and the organization, you are we asking. I've been just as excited about you all's success
Awesome.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you.
because
so
we
much,
brothers
man.
and sisters.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
And
Means
you're not
a
a
lot.
Muslim until you love for your brothers.
Absolutely.
You're not a Christian.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
No, you ain't
Break
no
it down.
follower of Jesus, Moses, Muhammad. You ain't
Break it down.
you don't even really believe in God yet.
Right. Right.
Until you love for your brother and sister what
Absolutely.
you love for yourself. Scripture says it like this: how could you say you love a God that you've never seen,
Right.
and hate your brother that you see every day,
Right.
in whom God lives?
Right. Exactly.
So,
Absolutely.
You know, that's
Absolutely.
kind of the unfortunate mathematics that we are trying to bust through. But you said it in the beginning. We have to organize a effective attack on the spiritual impediments that are slowing us down from making progress. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that the root of our problem is a spiritual one that necessitates a spiritual solution.
Right.
So what we're talking, these are spiritual problems
Absolutely.
that will
Yeah.
produce economic success if we can get rid of them.
Absolutely. A lot of people are, this is another conversation that I tend to have with people. And, I say within the past 3 years, I've been enlightened myself, understanding that, it starts with self.
Yes, sir.
In a way that when you look at the world and how long we've been fighting for a chance to be normal in a society where we deem ourselves as we should be normal, we fight mentally on changing our posture, changing the way we speak, changing the way we dress,
trying to fit
all
in.
these different things we're conforming to.
Yes, that's
You
right.
know, the problem I see is that who are we trying to impress?
Right.
Teach,
Right.
bro.
Who are we
teach,
trying to
right?
impress?
Teach.
It just clicked for me one day. It's like if all this has been happening for all these years and nothing's changed mentally on stereotype,
Come on.
what makes us think that somebody is going to come down, not only come down, but physically
Yes.
do something to change that when it's been working for them?
Right.
Right.
So we have to
Yeah.
care more about ourselves. Can you dig deeper into that on a good friend of ours that was on our show before, Dominic Dorsey? He's a local activist, and man, he fights hard, for equality and lots of different things in the city. And he was on the news recently and was speaking on explaining to people why there would be no peace if there's no justice, and it was immediately translated in the comments section and other ways that that's a threat, if he's saying there's no justice, no peace. No.
It is
yeah,
a threat from
yeah.
God.
Right.
Yeah.
He's just representing the
Right.
threat. It
Right.
don't mean he's getting ready to do,
Exactly. Exactly.
anything. But if the Bible says in Malachi 3:6, it says, "I am the Lord; I changeth not."
Right.
You cannot do to black people in America what was done to the Arabs on the Arabian Peninsula, what was done to the people of Nineveh, what was done to the children of Israel in Egypt, what was done to those that were enslaved in Babylon,
Right.
and think that at some point that you're not going to get some or else's. There was some or else's. It was 10 or else's that God gave
Right.
to Pharaoh and his crew.
Oh yeah.
Some
he
locusts,
still
some
didn't
lice.
listen. Yeah. He still didn't listen.
Some grasshoppers came, and the last or else was death itself.
Moses.
And he didn't listen. The Holy Quran says that on his last death, when he was drowning in the sea, he repented and confessed that there's no God but the one God.
Wow.
But the God didn't pull him out the water. Too little, too late.
Right.
He still drowned.
Right.
So, the brother's representing the truth. And what I would suggest to us is that, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he taught us in such a simple way. That's how he was a master teacher. Most of us think that somebody's real smart or deep or wise
Come on
because
with
of how confused that they can make you when they talk. How many big words that they can use.
Come on.
Brother come talking about, see if you can get into the transatlantic sidroplex of the 14th chakra. If you can get on the frequency of the 14th chakra on the level beyond the left.
Right.
And then you like, that was deep.
Yeah.
Man, brothers, that brother's crazy.
Right.
And I'm confused. No, real wisdom is not taking something simple and making it confusing.
Right.
Real wisdom is when you can take a complex idea and make it so plain that a fool
Yes.
can't even make
Come
it.
on.
understand.
Parables like
So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was able to do that. With us. He said this. He said, knowledge of self will produce love for yourself.
Yeah.
And love for yourself will cause you to want to do right by yourself. And since you are Brother Pat,
Yeah, absolutely.
Brother Ray, you're
Yeah.
my brother, you're Basewater brother, you're my other self.
Right.
If I know me and love me and I'm doing right by me, I'm going to treat my other me's
Right.
the same way.
Absolutely.
So the root solution,
Yeah.
and I found it the other day, Brother Ray, in the American Dictionary of Psychology. Listen to this. They said that the strongest force in the human psychology is the need for a human being to remain congruent with the identity they have of their own selves.
Wow.
So whenever we think in our subconscious mind that I'm a nigga or I'm I ain't gonna be nothing. But see, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he flipped. He said every time you look at a black man, you're looking at God. He said the black woman, look at this. She's the second self of God. She is the mother of civilization. He said there's no such thing as a no good woman. Any no good woman was made that way by a no good man. So once a sister starts learning that about herself,
Yeah.
and a man, every time I look at a black man, I'm looking at God, including when I'm looking in the mirror, then that identity begins to cause the man to want to act congruent with that identity.
Right.
And it becomes the strongest force in his human psychology, making he and she want to be kings and queens and gods.
Right.
So that's the basic root, really solution to the treatment, to the unity, all the things that we're looking for. It starts with a knowledge of ourselves.
Absolutely. And we must condition ourselves and get into a behavior that fits that.
Right.
You know, which is why, you know, what you guys do as an organization is powerful.
It is.
You building soldiers, you know, and we have to figure out how to do that, you know, unanimously, all over, you know, without.
Well, we in a fight whether we like it or not.
Right.
So if you're not trying to become combat ready,
Right.
mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, and economically, then we're going to continue to lose.
Right.
I would suggest this to us, though, that we put a lot of pressure on our organizations, our churches,
Sure.
our religions, and our schools
Right.
to do something for our families that at the real root of it,
We should be doing.
we got to do as fathers
Absolutely.
and mothers.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, Brother Ray, whenever
I
you
agree.
graduate or graduated from an institution of higher learning, we leave that school, and when we leave, we tell people that was my alma mater. Do you know alma mater is German for other mother?
I didn't know.
Didn't know that.
So a school is the other mother. So really, religion, church, mosque,
Right.
school, organization, guess what it is? It's a secondary system
Right.
that is to reinforce
Right. An
the
extended
truth
version
and values
of it.
of what mama and daddy have already
Right.
taught.
Absolutely.
So the real responsibility of the making of soldiers,
Right.
or the teaching of the knowledge of self, or whatever other solutions we come up with, it has to start at home with mothers and fathers. We got to give our children homework,
Right.
Yeah.
not regurgitation of and review of what they got from the public food system, school
Right.
system,
Right.
but what we gave them because of what we know we wish we would have had to help make us into the men and women we're supposed to be. There's a great thinker named Robert Collier who wrote a book called The Secret of the Ages in 1926.
Okay.
This white man said this. He said that he's found over looking at decades and decades of education and greatness and how it's connected to one another, and he found that education is 1/4 information and 3/4 encouragement. Do you know that there's nothing more that encourages a young black boy than him able to look back and see another black man in his past
Right.
do something great? Nothing encourages a young black girl like her being able to look back and see that Rosa Parks and Mary McLeod Bethune and Madam C.J. Walker, Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth,
Right.
Queen Nzinga.
Right.
Whenever she can look back and see what ISIS did or what Nefertiti, see when she starts learning that,
Right.
then by her able to see somebody that looks like her, that she has a lot in common with, what you have in common, you start comparing yourself to.
Right.
And if I have something in common, I compare. And once I compare, then what I've seen in them becomes food for my desire. My desire becomes food for my will. And my will is my mental muscle that helps me to achieve in the present time whatever I read about that happened in the past.
Right.
So
Right.
so this is why we have to, I mean, how do you say it? Baptize.
Right. Right. And what do you say to those parents and father, or even our grandparents? We got grandparents, we got our fathers and mothers who came from a generation where they were spiked by the 80s, you know, and cocaine and all these different things. A lot of us come from the Midwest and down south and dealing with all these different things. They don't understand what that means to reflect
well,
on self and to fix self. What do they start?
That's the deeper side of
Yeah.
it. Because unfortunately, the adults need the same teaching as the children.
Right.
Yes.
So, but the wisdom of God, look at this: train up a child, not teach up.
Train up.
Train up. Teach means that you can give information but not be a witness of it.
Right.
But the train means that you give information that you yourself bear witness to in your own life.
Right.
So if we are to train up a child in the way that they should go, you can't teach them about Queen Nzinga if you don't know nothing about her.
Exactly.
You can't teach them about Marcus Garvey if you haven't studied him.
Right.
So we need both the father, mother, and the child to be studying the same thing.
Right.
And then as mama and daddy are studying, they're able to quiz sons and daughters. Next thing you know, the strongest force in the human psychology which is that need for the human being to act or behave congruent with their identity of self.
Absolutely.
Then you begin to identify yourself with the kings, the rulers, the inventors,
Right.
the great ones of the past. Next thing you know, you feel like in your mind, well, if they did all that back then, they ain't even have no internet.
Wow.
They ain't have no cars.
Right.
Oh,
No
man,
rulers,
they ain't have-
calculators.
You mean tell me they didn't have no Wi-Fi back then? We got all this. If they did all that back then without the tools we have now, we should be able to do that and then some.
Triple.
Yeah.
So that's the math
Right.
that works. So those that have been affected, we got to train up a child, which means we got to learn it ourselves. We got to set the example, lead
Right.
by example.
Right.
And if we start picking up, there's right now, Brother Ray, it's so deep. Black people have a phobia for reading.
It's true.
Do you know that they have a
Very
saying
true.
among white people that the best place to hide something from a nigga is to put it in the book?
Yeah, put it in yeah. Put
And
it
then they
in.
say it and laugh.
Yeah,
Right.
laugh, yeah.
Right.
Downtown at the Columbia Club and at the places where they smoke their cigars and drink. Best place to hide something from. Niggas don't read. And you know why we don't read? See, a phobia is a present day fear based upon a past negative experience.
Yeah.
Right.
Every time we picked up a history book, we never learned about ourselves except from the cotton field to the current, plantation to the present.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All we learned about ourselves is that we were slaves, and if we read about a revolution, they always were killed or castrated. Then when we pick up the scripture of the Bible, because we've been indoctrinated as children in Bible study with images of a white Moses, a white Jesus, white angels, white Mary, white Last Supper, in our mind, we see scriptural history as a great white story and history as a great white story. Every time I read history, it's a negative about black. Every time I read scripture, it's a positive about white, nothing about me.
Right.
Yeah.
So the negative past experience that's come from education and religion has caused us not to want to even read no more.
Right.
Yeah, what do you say to those that and this is something that really pisses me off when I hear people, black and white or whoever, they say that learning your history means nothing. That did not happen to you, so you don't need to learn your history. So, just let it go. We had a previous show, and I asked this lady, who was a white woman, and I purposely asked her this question. I said, do you think that blacks could know where they're going without knowing their history? And she got real silent, and she said, no, I don't think that's possible. So what do you say to those that feel like we don't need to learn our history in order to know where we are and where we need to be?
Well, this is it. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad said it like this. He said that of all of our studies, history is best qualified to reward the researcher. Now, the same people that tell us, don't look at your history, every year around the anniversary of the Holocaust, it's on every channel.
Yeah,
9/11.
Right.
it is.
Never again. Yeah, you never forget 9/11.
Right.
Remember the Alamo.
Right. Right.
Is that right?
Yep.
Everything that ever happened, they always want to talk about Pearl Harbor,
Right.
9/11. Remember the Alamo. Holocaust. Never forget. But when it comes time for us to review really the worst crime against humanity in the annals of history, which was the kidnapping and the slave breaking, slave making, and slave mastering of a people.
Absolutely.
They don't want us to talk about it. But when you go to get your job, don't you have to fill out an application? What do they want to know on there? Is it history?
Yes.
Well, they don't know past employers.
Yeah.
Put your resume together. What does that tell you? All your education. That's all history. Go to the hospital to get reviewed, to get checked out. What they want to know. First thing you do in the lobby, you got to fill out your medical
Record.
history.
Yeah,
You go buy you a car.
Yeah.
What they gonna do? They sign right here. Why? Because we got to pull your credit.
Absolutely.
What's
Yeah.
credit? Credit is your financial history.
Right.
So in the hospital is history. At the mortgage company is history. To get a job is history. To get into a school after high school, they want to see your transcript.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
history.
Yep.
Everything is based on history. Why do they do this? Because they know past actions are the best predictors of future behavior.
Right.
So it is an imperative that we don't let anyone talk us out of seeing the good, the bad, and the ugly of the past. The bad and the ugly will show us who our enemy is.
Right.
And the good will show us our positive potential we have within ourselves. We need to have both of them.
Right.
Otherwise, we'll end up taking our friends for our enemies. And our enemies will become our friends. And we'll be in the shape that we're in right now. So now history is best qualified to reward the research. If you don't know what was, you don't know what is.
Right.
If you don't know what is, you don't know what is to come.
Right.
In education, there's a term called synthesizing. And that's basically using what you already know. When you get new information,
Right.
you have to connect to what you already know in order to actually make a full connection, in order for it to actually
Good
to
teaching.
digest it.
That's
Wow.
So, and that's where our youth are. They don't have that connection
right.
to synthesize. So even the smallest stuff like a farm, I can't read a book on a farm because I can't synthesize with it.
Right.
Never seen one.
Ah.
So
Wow.
how can I even digest it and even take an assessment on my knowledge
Right.
if I don't even know what it is?
Right.
So, like Brother Nuri said, it's a lack of that connection of what we need that connection. And unfortunately, our youth and our people are in that state of mind right now.
Right. Why?
We can't-
Why? And why do? And it's good that you say that, because that brings me back to this situation where I look at some people and I say, why don't they understand? I don't think they're ever meant to understand. And I think that when you think about slavery, started in 1619, we're coming up on 2019, which will
A
mark
little before
400
that
years.
even.
Yeah.
1555.
It was a secret little pocket that
Oh,
we'll
yeah.
talk about one day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear about that.
Yeah, it's called slave making time.
Oh,
55
the
to
build-up.
1619 is called 64-year hidden history. That's why you watched any of the game shows, they always have what they call the $64,000 question. Why not 65? Because 64 represents a mystery. It's a history that they hid from us. They want us to think that they found us in Africa with bones in our nose, swinging from trees.
Right.
We were already savages, and we should be thankful
Right.
that these good God-fearing pilgrims came and got us from the savage state and
Yeah.
brought us over here. Now, at least you all know how to eat and cook. No,
Right,
we were the
right.
pyramid builders.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We are the fathers and mothers of all art, science, and civilization. So it took 64 years to turn a king and a queen into a slave. And the way they did it, Brother Rays, they murdered all the adults wholesale and raised the children without the adults. And when you take away a person's books and their system of culture, and then you take away the mothers, fathers, and grandparents, uncles, and aunts, which will be the ones that could pass that down when the
Right.
books aren't present.
Right.
Now all they have is to look at what they are raised in, and that becomes their new definition of self. So it's called in science, they call it among the animals and the insects, they call it premature cognitive commitment. Meaning that if you take anything, animal or insect, at its baby stage,
Right.
and you bind it in a certain way, however you train it, that will become its definition of self. So they've taken fleas, put them in a jar, put plastic on the jar, remove the plastic at a certain point, fleas never jump out. Even though they could. Fleas have a vertical higher than any creature on the planet. They can jump 36 inches. That's 3 feet off the ground. A jar ain't but about 8 inches tall.
Right.
They never jump because of their mind has been conditioned. Elephants have been tied to ropes as babies.
Absolutely.
Then
Yeah.
if they let them grow up and they can pull the whole tent down, they never pull the rope.
Because mentally.
Yeah, fish been put in an aquarium with a glass in the middle. They hit that glass, and every time they hit it, they think this is as far as I can swim. At a certain point, remove the glass. And they never swim any farther.
Wow.
What happened to us from 1555 to 1619 is we became the victims of premature cognitive commitment. We were denied knowledge of ourselves, denied our culture.
Right.
No aunties, no uncles, no mothers, fathers, no grandparents, just children being raised by some no good, wicked, white, slave master, foster parents. And you know how some foster parents don't bring you in their house because they love you, they bring you for money. That's the kind of foster parents we had.
Wow.
So when we came to be made as a profit tool, they raised us, and we never knew anything about our rich legacy of the past. When you say, well, where did Nat Turner come from then? Where did Denmark Vesey come from? How did Harriet Tubman? They tapped into their genetic memory accidentally on purpose. They wasn't even trying. Just something sparked in them, said this ain't how it's supposed to be.
Right.
Sounds like Get Out.
Yeah.
Right.
And then thus,
Yeah.
we had these kind of
Yep.
revolutionaries. So that just a
Wow.
little.
Man, that's
synopsis.
incredible,
Yes.
man. Man, that's incredible.
It reminds me of a soundbite, and this the question I was originally going to ask. I want to say it was a minister that said God made man, and the white man.
White people made niggas.
Yes. Can you expound on that? Because when you brought up how God made us in power, love, and discipline, and then Willie Lynch made us into to have fear, envy, and distrust.
Yeah.
I've had this debate several times with people in regards to how we became the people that we are today, and how you have, like Chris Rock said, and I mean I have to quote Chris Rock. He said, because some of us have this mindset: I love black people, but I hate niggas.
Right.
And so if you can dive deeper into that whole concept, and how we became the people. I know you touched on Willie Lynch.
Yeah. Well, first of all, we all know English is really a bastard language. It has multiple baby daddies,
Right. Right.
for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
It could be on Maury Povich.
Yeah.
You are not the father.
Right.
But it has so many roots to
Yeah.
it. Sometimes it's Latin, sometimes it's Greek,
Yeah.
sometimes Swahili, sometimes Hebrew, Arabic. We don't know. So the word nigger or negro comes from its Latin root word necra. And necra in necromancy, necrology, is it deals with the dead. So the definition of a negro is a black person that is mentally dead. It means to be dead from the neck up.
Wow.
That's what necra means. So the product called Negro is what they found, or what we became in 1619. 1555, we were the kings. We were the rulers. We were
Right.
the pyramid builders.
Right.
We were the architects of civilization. But after premature cognitive commitment, illegal to pray, illegal to read, no one that can teach. We should sing in the song, in church song, that couldn't hear nobody pray.
Right.
See, that's all slave hymns that we were reciting. We couldn't hear nobody pray because nobody knew how to pray no more.
Right.
Because we had lost our ancestors. So that product of slave breaking or slave making is that kneeling process, that 64 years of breaking down a proud, powerful, and productive people
Right.
into being fit for slavery.
Right.
And at the end of the process of breaking us down, that's what a Negro is. Someone that has been killed mentally,
Right.
but is yet alive physically.
Right.
So right now, how do you say it? We've become the walking dead. Black people right now, if we don't have a knowledge of God and self and our rich history as a people, we're not alive, we just exist. So we can breathe, talk, walk, dress, eat,
Right.
make children, all that. But we don't have the power that we once had when our minds were activated
Right.
by the knowledge of God, the knowledge of self,
Right.
and the knowledge of our legacy. So that is what Negro or nigga is. It's nowhere in the scripture.
I
They
see.
in the world. Somebody made them. It's
Absolutely.
a man-made, exclusively made in America.
Yeah.
That's what should be on the back of our tag. We like Levi's, Chevrolet, Ford, Negroes, all made in America.
Wow, man, I want to get to the
Go ahead.
viewers, man, for a second. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Yep.
Hey, all this information is powerful. One of the viewers posted this question. She said the Bible says that God's chosen people will be sent to another land in ships. Then she quoted Deuteronomy 28:68. Then she said that the minister Louis Farrakhan asked, "Are the blacks the children of Israel?" And then she said, "Can you touch bases on that?"
Well, and to make it long story short, the sister is 100% right and exact. The qualifications among all theologians for being the chosen people of God is that you have to be the fulfillment of Genesis 15:13 through 15, where God's talking to Abraham, and he says these words: "Know of a surety, Abram, your seed shall be a stranger in a land that's not theirs.
Wow.
They shall serve them, and they shall be afflicted by them for 400 years. But after that time, I will come, God talking, and I will judge that nation whom ye have served, and ye shall come out having great substance. That's a whole lecture within and of itself.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
Most of the time, the Jews like to take credit for it. But we can prove that this is more black people in America than it ever was Jews in Egypt. Do you know that when Abraham was in Egypt and they came across him, he told them that he was an Egyptian and they thought he was one?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if Abraham was in Egypt and was mistaken for being an Egyptian, Egypt is in Africa. The word Egypt comes from a Greek root word, ieptis, which means land of black and burnt skin people.
Yes.
So Abraham had black and burnt skin. When you're the seed of, you're in the bloodline of.
Right.
How could you be from the descendant of a black and burnt skin person and be a white Jew? It's talking about us.
Right.
First thing you got to do to be Abraham's seed, you got to be black like he was. Second, say he was going to be a stranger, or we would be a stranger in a land not ours. Jews say, well, that's us. Well, when Jesus was talking to the Jews in the 8th chapter of John in the 32nd verse, do you know that he told the Jews, you shall know the truth and the truth shall make you free? Those Jews, the white Jews at that time, you know what they told Jesus? How will we be made free when we have never been in bondage to any man? Well, if you've never been in bondage to any man, and the qualifications to being the chosen of God is that you have to have been slaves in a strange land for 400 years. They disqualified themselves. But what about us?
Right.
You know it had to be talking about us because there's no mention of the word pyramid in no Bible. You can look up any translation of the Bible. The word pyramid is nowhere in the Bible. But the slaves that were considered children of Abraham, they were making bricks that were made of mud and straw. Pyramids are made of bricks of mud and straw. They're made of marble. They're made of gold. They're made of granite. The only bricks that we know of that were built or used to build buildings or structures that slaves built are the skyscrapers in the United States of America.
Wow.
That's us
Right.
doing that. So
Right.
keep going, you know.
Yeah.
We keep studying because after that time we shall come out having great substance. Now what's happened to us, Brother Ray, is because we are in, I call it, we live in a place called Spookville. And the number one religion on earth right now is not Christianity, Islam, nor Judaism. It is spookism.
Right.
We got Christians, Muslims, and Jews in it. Everybody's spooky.
Right.
Spookism is an extreme or excessive emotion or attachment to a non-existent nothing.
Right.
To have a strong belief in something that can't do nothing for you at all.
Right.
So we sitting around waiting on the divine
hater.
piece of wind and just, the hater is going to do it. We waiting on somebody to come do it. It ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
So the word substance, Brother Pat, come out with great substance. In the original Sanskrit and in the Hebrew, the word for substance means the how-to.
Okay.
So God ain't coming to do it for us. He's coming to give us a formula to show us how to do it for ourselves.
Absolutely.
We believe that God did come in the person of a man named Master Father Muhammad, and he raised a man named the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to show us the how-to.
Right.
And that's kind of what we believe makes us more successful in the transformation process in the world. So the sister is right and exact. We are the real children of Israel. He said, well, we don't live in Israel. Yes, you do. You just don't know it.
Right.
Go look at your $1 bill. What the symbol for America is an eagle. On the right side of the dollar, there's an eagle. But not next to, not underneath it, but above his head. I want you to look at them 13 stars above the eagle's head and connect the dots. It's a 6-point star, or the Star of David, the symbol of the Jews, the symbol of Israel, not next to or beneath the eagle, but above the eagle, letting you know we control this thing. Yeah, so check it out. So we living in the real Israel. Israel means land of bondage. That's us.
Yeah,
Can you break down, and there's a lot of different, like, people hear a lot of these different words, the Jews, the Hebrews, the Israelites. Can you break down, because one's a language, one's a people, can you break down and help people understand the difference between those things? Because you got the Jews, you got the Israelites, you got the help people understand how that works?
Well, the easiest way to look at it is that to know this, we are the original everything.
Okay.
So whenever you consider Hebrew, you're considering the original people of black descent that were connected to the teachings of Moses.
Right.
That's a Hebrew.
Okay.
But today, the Jews that we see, that are the goldsmiths,
Okay.
the Spielbergs, the Silversteins, these are white Jews that have adopted, I don't even want to say they adopted the religion, because a lot of them, they are more Zionist than they are
Yes, they are.
Jewish.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a
But
lot.
they have turned Jew into a race. And really, these are the Khazars or the Edomites or Caucasians that came out of Europe and integrated in the world, following a little bit of what Moses taught, but a whole lot of other technology that their father taught them. That
Descendants
Moses
of
gave them.
Esau?
Was that?
Are they
Esau.
the descendants of Esau?
Like Edomites.
Somewhat. You know,
Somewhat.
Yeah.
somewhat you could say. You
Okay.
got Jacob and Esau. Most of them, you could call them Jacob's children too,
Okay.
because Jacobite, Yaqub.
Right.
But it's a little more.
Right.
But
Yeah.
but these, just put it like this: the real Jew, Paul said it like this, is not the Jew by the circumcision of the male organ, but the real Jew is the Jew by the circumcision of the heart. So getting the heart circumcised was what makes you a Jew.
Okay.
Passing out of wrong into right.
Right.
Sin into righteousness is what makes you
Okay.
a real Jew. These that call themselves Jews today, that control the music industry and manipulate Hollywood and control the government, these are not Jews. These are Zionists using Moses and Jewish name to manipulate people. They follow way more Talmud than they do Torah.
Right.
And the Talmud is a handwritten document by Jewish rabbis that has a lot of things that are anti-black, anti-women, Do you know Jews don't believe in Jesus at all? You didn't hear me.
Wow.
I'm talking about these people that own the Lakers and own the the Clippers and the head of the NBA. They do not believe Jesus ever existed.
Because you know, and that
Wow.
and that gets to why they play NBA games on Christmas.
Yeah, well,
they don't
they don't
That's
they don't
right,
believe
that
in
money.
nothing. They
Yeah,
put that
it's all
Santa
about
Claus
money.
in there and get that paper.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
The Simons that own the Pacers, the Simons that own the malls here and 368 other malls in the United States, they don't believe in no Jesus. Do you know in the Talmud, it says that Jesus is boiling in hell and excrement? They don't call Mary, they call her Haria, which means whore. The term SOB came from them describing Jesus.
Wow.
They were calling Jesus the son of a bee.
Wow.
And his mother was a bee. Yet at the same time, here we are with the Final Call newspaper, good and black for you. You won't even buy a $2 paper from us, talking about I don't believe what y'all believe, y'all don't believe what we believe, and you go to the mall every day
Right.
Come on.
and spend your money with these people that believe your Savior is boiling in excrement
Right.
in hell right now, and his mother is a bee.
Wow.
So you know these are not the real Jews.
Right.
Right.
You know,
Right.
the children of Israel really is just a prophecy, and that's kind of where we get lost in the sauce, to be honest,
Right.
is that most of us take the Bible and we look at it as a holy history book,
Right.
but
That's true.
it's called the Living Bible.
Right.
Do you know if something's living, it has to be in existence right now?
Mm.
The people that wrote the Bible said that they were writing what they heard and seen prophets do. Well, prophets prophesy. The word prophecy, pro, means in advance, fesi means speak. So a prophet prophesy, meaning that what? I'm speaking in advance.
Right.
So I'm living 4,000 years ago, but I'm talking about what's coming later. Our problem is we hear them talking
Right.
4,000 years ago and think they're describing their reality. But they really were describing our reality.
Wow.
But because we're looking at it as a holy history book instead of a living Bible.
Right.
Ain't it something, Brother Ray? Do you know the Bible and the Quran is called a scripture? Base word of scripture is script. What's a script for a play? a script for a movie? A pre-recorded document. People study it before the cameras are ever turned on, the stage is ever lit up.
Wow.
So after they get the script, they learn the role and then they act it out.
Right. Wow.
So the Bible and Holy Quran not a script for a play or movie, it's a script for life. Pre-recorded document telling us about ourselves before we even live it. Now we got a choice. We could say, man, I want to be, oh man, I want to be more, I want to be like, I don't want to be like the soothsayers and the magicians.
Right.
Or the disbelievers. I want to be like the apostles. Okay, how did the apostles think? What did they do? And we have an opportunity to really see our lives in advance and choose whichever role we want to play.
Right.
That's the blessing of the book. So children of Israel is us. 100%. None of it ever happened back then.
Right.
Never was there any Jews in bondage in Egypt building no pyramids.
Right.
If they were, then why come they haven't been able to reproduce it nowhere on earth?
Absolutely.
It said it in well, not that, but in Deuteronomy, what she was quoting. I mean, it's very powerful because it said that, you know, they'll be taken from one land to another land, and when they get to that land, they'll be sold as bondmen and bondwomen. And it's like, okay, who has that happened to?
Right.
You know, that has it. So I mean, that makes, you know, perfect sense of what
And
you're
that's
saying.
the goal. See, the goal is what you're doing, Brother Pat. You take the scriptural template and you lay it over the history of us as a people. But if you don't know your history, you don't even match.
Right.
But if you know your history, then you can lay the scripture over top of it and say, like, oh man, this is it fits perfectly. Well, this must be us. And then you start looking at, you know, there's 673 habits that Moses gave Israel.
Right.
And I'm saying that these habits, black people need to pick up on.
Wow.
Right. Right.
Because this is habits on how to handle our children, how to handle our women, how to deal with finance, how to set up economic systems, how not to charge interest and usury to one another,
Right.
how to honor neighbors, how to barter. All that's in here,
Right.
in the habits that Moses gave to the black man and woman
Right.
of North America, children of Israel.
Yeah, food,
Absolutely.
Food.
Yeah, and you know,
Habits,
you can't eat no swine and be a children. You can't eat swine and be a follower of Moses.
Right. Right.
No, you can't do that. It's not in there.
But they put that swan in everything, man. I mean, they put that
Everything.
swan in
Lotion.
everything.
Yeah, that's their thing.
Body wash.
Man.
Wow. Whatever makes the money.
Yes.
You know what's amazing to me is that there's three things that we resonate with growing up in this generation, in this day and time, and it's unfortunate, but music,
Yes, sir.
TV, and sports.
Yes, sir.
For some reason, even if you move to a neighborhood where you're making a lot of money, they just assume that you either a rapper, you a ball player of some sort, or that you on TV.
Yeah.
How do we, as a people, go from that? Because I mean, and I don't have anything against Power. You know, the movie, the series.
Right.
I'm not a fan of
I do.
TV like that. So, you know, when people get excited about it, it really does nothing for me. I'm just like, that's just a character that's being portrayed. But to me, it's a bigger picture because I'm looking at it from a different perspective.
Yeah.
So, you know, but what's amazing to me is that we can be bottled in these three different things.
Yeah.
And no one is picking up on the fact that those are the only three things that anyone outside of the African American sees that we could possibly be.
Right.
You know, you can't be a great educator or a politician.
But look at this. The slave masters. I have a book that I had learned to get from the minister. It's called Advice Among Masters. And this is just memos on various subjects that slave masters used to share with one another.
Right.
And it's about this thick. I paid $100 for the book,
Mm-hmm.
and I haven't found it ever again. When I bought it for $100, a few days later it was $200. It's
Wow.
been out of print for a long time, but this is just the actual memos slave masters were sharing with other slave masters.
Right.
And one of their codes that they had was this, as it related to black people: nigga sing, nigga dance, nigga jump, or nigga die.
Wow.
So what you just described,
Right.
see, what they're saying is that these are the only 4 fields of human endeavor that we're going to allow you all to manifest your genetic greatness.
Right.
They know in their mind. See, anything that we are allowed to do without hindrance or suppression, we always pass up our white counterpart and master it.
Right.
NBA
Right.
used to be for whites only. Now what? Baseball. Now what? Tennis. Look at Serena. Serena, how old is she? What, 63 or 64? No, she ain't that old. But
Hockey.
Did she just got finished winning?
Yeah. Yeah.
Pregnant? 30-some years old and pregnant and won the Australian Open?
Yeah.
Come on. This
Hockey.
Now we in hockey dominating? And you know they
Savannah
never
brothers.
intended on Tiger to be the top of golf.
I know.
Right.
When you get the green jacket, it's called the Masters.
Right.
You know they intend no slaves to be winning.
Oh, wow. That's a good
So
point.
everything that we get in, without hindrance and suppression, we become the best at it.
Right.
Dominated.
So what they've said is that it's genetic greatness in these people. See, they've been around for too long. We've been here, black people have been here for, look at this, not millions, trillions of years.
Right. Which is why genetic makeup is
Stronger.
strong.
We the longest living creature on the planet.
Right.
And everything has evolved over time. So we are the supreme beings.
Right.
So what they say is that, man, here it is. All this greatness is going to come about these people. We got to find some release valve areas
Channel it.
so that we can channel that greatness. And we got to find some non-threatening areas.
Right.
So let's open up sports for them. Because no matter whether Golden State or Cleveland won, our condition didn't change.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
Period.
Some people
So,
made some money.
Yeah, they made big money. It's a non-threatening to white supremacy structure.
Right.
And if that nigga dance, entertain me, jump, that's all sports. Sing, that's music. Now music, really, I'm going to tell you, music has the power to produce a revolution.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So as long as they don't control the narrative.
Absolutely.
But if they can control the narrative, then now I take the masterful wordplay of a Lil Wayne, or the masterful wordplay of a Nicki Minaj or a Drake or a Jay. These brothers and sisters, this is the coldest I've ever seen
Right.
in wordplay.
Right. For
But what you
44.
talking about?
Right.
Exactly.
See, is it Dope did a theme music?
Right.
Exactly.
Is it How to Kill a Nigga 101? 202?
Yeah.
Is that all you got? Is how to misuse and mess with somebody else's woman? Is it everything got to be materialism?
Right.
So now you got Jay-Z
Right.
come out with 444.
I was going to, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
man, I
so
was gonna ask
you not
about
black,
that.
huh? You OJ.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
And now in it he's dropping some jewels. The front of the final call this week is called Lessons from Jay-Z.
Wow.
Huh?
I have to see that, yeah.
Man,
Wow.
and there's so many life skill principles that
Absolutely.
he's dropping in it. Now, I seen one of the brothers, he said, man, I just feel like, put a sweater around your waist, it's just too smart. One of the other rappers.
That's horrible logic.
I said, come on, brother.
Yeah,
Everything-
so- no,
he
that's-
said, how we going? He
Yeah.
said, we can't do nothing with that in the club.
Yeah, that's golf music.
Or the strip.
Yeah, but how long is the club life?
Right.
Yeah. That's
And
Right.
it shouldn't be none. But if you there, you ain't there for your whole day
Right.
or your whole week. So why not have some music that can make you what you're supposed to
Absolutely.
Exactly.
make you?
Exactly.
Now they charging him with being an anti-Semite.
Yeah.
You know that?
Right.
Because he said
Yeah.
Jews own
All the property in
all the
America.
property in America.
Right.
And he telling the truth.
Right.
Yeah.
No, he's promoting that's anti-Semitism. Welcome to the club, Jay-Z.
Right.
But do you
Right.
see how crazy that is? That line, which was nothing negative.
right.
They're trying to portray him as being, anti-Semitic, but yet when you look at the music, like the industry is controlled by these so-called Jews.
And they ain't never said nothing about anti-black women,
Thank you.
Right.
Right.
Thank you.
anti-black people music.
Yeah.
How many niggas get killed in a song?
and they push it, like they push
Right.
it. Yeah, say it
And
again.
they
say
tell
it
you, no,
again.
it's not enough killing on this album.
Right.
Yeah, you gotta
Right.
keep
Do
saying.
you know that whenever Tupac and Snoop made the song America's Most Wanted,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that they had a they commentated at the end, and they said on there, yeah, after we get finished with these black bees, we going to go hit these Jewish hoes.
Wow.
Man, called them in and said, hey, This is what Snoop said. You all can say black bees, but that Jewish hoe, you can't say that.
You can't say that.
Wow.
That has to be taken off of there.
Wow. You can derate your own people.
Michael Jackson said,
Right.
sue me, Jew me, you will never do me. They made him recall over 1 million albums to take Jew me off of there.
Wow.
I don't really care about us.
Yeah.
Wow. Didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
because
So they can regulate language that looks at them funny, but they promote language that destroys us
tears us down.
Right.
Tears
as
us
a
down.
people. That produces the most powerful
Right.
force in the human psychology, which is the human being's need to behave congruent with their identity of self.
Right.
How many songs have we heard that have told us that we're something other than what we're supposed to be? So the math is in, and that is the unfortunate truth. But the minister said this. He said, one good rap song is worth more than 1,000 of my speeches.
Wow.
Wow.
Music is the most effective method of teaching on the face of the earth.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
How did you learn your ABCs?
Right. Do a song.
It was a song.
Absolutely.
So music is a form of teaching, no matter what it is. They just don't like
Yeah.
when you're teaching black people to be empowered.
Exactly.
Hey, what's wrong with him saying, all he said is, I'm going to show you how they did it. He
Right.
started talking about cleaning up your credit.
Right.
He started talking about how that he had it was a building he could have bought for $2 million in Dumbo,
Right.
and he passed on that and he bought everything with a V12
Yeah.
instead,
Right.
talking about cars.
Right.
And then now that same house is worth 25 million. Guess
Right.
how I feel?
Dumb.
Right.
Like a Dumbo.
Right.
So I'm saying
Absolutely.
that what is he saying? He's saying that they made their power by getting involved in real estate.
Right.
Did I say real?
Yeah.
Right.
Real.
Real
Right.
estate.
Right.
And y'all should do the same thing.
Absolutely.
You want to? He said you want to clean up your money, buy the hood.
Right.
That's how you cleanse your money.
Right.
So he's teaching.
Trying to give you all that
Yeah,
game
yeah.
for $9.99.
Give you that game for $9.99. But now they got a problem
Right.
with that. But we we have to make sure that we celebrate and promote that which is going to have a positive effect on our people.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with dancing, nothing wrong with moving, nothing wrong with
As long as it's progressive,
yeah,
proactive.
but the narrative of it has to be something that
Yeah.
that really engraves something great into the subconscious mind that we can use later on in
Absolutely.
our lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thinking about
Hundredfold.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut
No,
you
no,
off.
no,
But,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was thinking about how going along with the Jews controlling the industry and the narrative, and how you have the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who is who's always been influential in the hip hop genre, and how he's meeting with so many artists. I was listening to 2 Chainz the other day on the Breakfast Club,
Yeah.
and he was talking about the minister, and so I went to that song. I'm like, oh my God, I need to hear that because he had the minister come in
Got him on there, that's right.
and got him on his track.
Yeah.
I think it was called Burglar Bars. Is what it's
Oh
called.
man, I have to listen to that.
Yeah, and so it just makes me think about how the narrative, how the minister is counteracting that narrative, in his way.
Right.
And that's that's what they are afraid of.
Yes.
See, do you know, just a little study for anybody that's listening, go and read about a man named Mao Zedong
Okay.
and look at what he did to fix China. And do you know that when Mao Zedong took power in China, that they were heroin users and heroin dealers? That's all they were.
Wow.
Wow.
The dominant culture was drug use. It was not heroin, but opium. They were using opium.
Okay.
And when he got in, look what he did. He made it a law. Every play, every movie, and every song, all the arts and cultural community had to make music and plays and movies that promoted pride in China.
Wow.
In 1 year, there were no more opium addicts and no more opium dealers in China.
Wow.
And of course, it did help that if you were caught using or selling, we would cut your head off. That was an extra stimulus
That helped.
package.
Yeah.
But the real change,
Right.
or else didn't even produce the real change. What
Wow.
produced the real change is that the cultural community
Right.
signed on to something that boosted.
Absolutely.
So I'm saying that to say what would happen. I know for sure that them Chinese artists, are nowhere near what these black artists are right now. Imagine if we had a 1-year run
Right.
of music, plays, and movies that all promoted love of black self.
Absolutely.
Wow.
What kind of revolution will we be able to produce for among our people
Right.
in a 12-month period of time? I think it'll take 12 days.
Yeah. Wow.
12
I agree.
days.
12
Yeah.
days.
Didn't they say it wasn't something called 12 Days a Slave?
Everybody jumping. Yeah.
It'd be 12 days a free person
Yeah.
if all the artists signed on
Absolutely.
to do that. But the gatekeepers, Brother Pat, see, they know now that they have allowed this to be the only outlet,
Yeah.
or how did you call it, channel?
Right.
It's the only channel for us manifesting our greatness. Guess
Yep.
what now? There's a line
Right.
of all types of skilled artists waiting.
Right.
And they looking at 100 Lil Waynes.
Yep.
All right? I don't want none of you conscious ones.
Right. Right.
No, revolutionary?
Young and dumb.
Yeah, you come.
Yeah, because
You got the same skill, but you'll promote my agenda.
exactly.
Right.
You know,
Right.
putting us black men in dresses and stuff.
And it's amazing that they
the rites
take
of passage.
they take the young and dumb out of the hood. Because I always think, where did they find this guy?
Right.
Where did they find him? And you find out he came from a no-name city, from a no-name street, no-name area that may have got a small buzz, and they put money behind him like, hey, we're going to give you $1 million. To a person from the streets, they ain't never seen that. All they know is counting them zeros.
Right.
You know, what they don't understand is that that job is temporary.
Right.
Because once you get that million and that million is gone, you back out on the street. But guess what? You still fighting for your money.
Right.
So now you fighting to maintain your artistry, and you're not getting no money. So this is a vicious cycle where these guys, and guess what? They end up going to jail.
Yeah.
Because they still in the streets, still maintaining. This is when you take a person from that arena, and they're not expecting you. You would think they would take a guy who is well accomplished
Right.
and then put him out there. But they take a guy who has never been accomplished, don't ever know what accomplishment looks like, you know, and there's a few that get away, you know, like Jay-Z and, you know, the guys that get smartened up. But Jay-Z had to get away from the clowns in order to get where he needed to, because those guys wanted to stay mentally trapped in the street. So it's a vicious cycle, and it's the same with the sports and the TV. How many of our young brothers and people get this money and get this fame, and then they collapse under pressure and all these other things? They give them drugs in the dressing room. They give them all these things when they travel overseas.
And that's the we have to find a way. It's just something that I have been thinking about. We have to find a way to provide life coaching
Absolutely.
for the ones that are great in any skill or profession.
Right.
And they have to be willing to make an investment in themselves
Absolutely.
to develop the type of self-discipline,
There it is.
ethics, morals,
There it is.
and bring into their mind the principles of success that will keep them on the top of their craft.
Absolutely.
And that's a missing thing, because all of the ones that sign them,
Right.
first thing they do is take you to a party, lined up with these Caucasian females to come and get you. Here, you never used this before. Try this out.
College.
Next thing you know, you on dope again.
Yeah.
So it's the whole script that they have designed. It's basically an assembly line
Yeah.
of making sure. Big Mama said like this: a fool and their money will soon part.
Yes, sir.
Question is, where do their money go to?
Right.
Right back to the cousins and the brothers of the ones that signed the deal. So they're looking at you as an object of recycling income
Yes.
Right.
among
Yes.
themselves.
Because you're gonna spend that with that financial
And then-
advisors
and you
with
make a
the
movie, you make a song that's a
Yeah.
permanent record
Right.
that promotes the idea of white supremacy and black inferiority, and you don't even realize it.
right.
So it's a
Yeah.
vicious cycle. But like Sister Ebony was saying, the minister has been establishing beachheads
Absolutely.
behind enemy lines, and he's gotten into the head of Rick Ross. He's in the head of Kanye. He's in the head of Jay-Z. He's in the head of 2 Chainz.
Oh yeah.
He's in the head of all these soldiers that have love for him,
Right.
because when they sit with him, they realize, I done met my life coach.
Right.
So in the song All Day, what did he say? He said, Kanye said, I just met with Farrakhan. That's sensei. then such and such since on 10 since the 10th grade. But sensei means that's the master teacher.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden Kanye crazy.
Right. Right.
Kanye gone crazy.
Oh yeah.
He on TV. This man said, "I am God."
Mm-hmm.
Ain't that something? Y'all done had no problem. He was a nigga.
Right.
Right.
I'm a nigga.
Right.
I'm a killer.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm a God. Y'all got a problem with that?
Right. Right.
So it's all, and the beauty of it is that the cultural revolution has begun.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And whenever it takes off full throttle, nothing
Right.
It's gonna be able to stop
that the
it.
haters talking to the little brother in the
Right,
morning,
right.
the Illuminati, the
Yeah.
Trilateral Commission, the Bilderbergers,
Right.
the 8 royal families, the
Committee
Carnegies,
300.
the Assagens, the DuPont.
Committee 300,
None of these big devils,
Mm-hmm.
they're not going to be able to do nothing to shut it down, because music and culture, you can't defeat it.
Right.
Yeah. Even
Right.
even Hitler knew that.
Yep. And
Yeah.
he had songs that he played to help indoctrinate them.
Right.
To weaken. Oh man, it's a cold demonstration. But you look at that they would play songs. Hitler used to play songs that the Jews liked to help calm them down. So he knew that there were certain songs that they liked already. He would play the old classics for them to help. Oh man, so we are in a what the scripture calls a great and a dreadful day. Great for some, dreadful for others. Our job is just to be on the side of the great.
Yes.
Continue being consistent.
We used to say it back in the day when we was in church. I held my peace and let the Lord fight my battle.
Absolutely.
Victory is won. So we have a role to play in it. But as you said in the first part, that self-improvement, as we've been taught, is the basis for community development.
Absolutely.
The whole is equal to or greater than the sum of its parts.
Yes.
Each one of us make our own individual contribution. So the more we began to examine ourselves, analyze ourselves, and correct ourselves,
Right.
the more of an asset we become to our community.
Absolutely.
Misery loves company, but guess what? So does success.
Yep. That's true.
And the more that you can show, Brother Ray and Brother Pat and Sister Ed, the more that you can show that being right, being conscious, being ethical, being pro your people gives me happiness and joy.
Absolutely.
When people see that you happy, doing what you're doing,
Right.
that success is going to become contagious.
Absolutely.
And they're going to say, man, if doing it like that makes them as happy as they are,
Yeah.
I don't have to sell my soul.
Right.
You
Right.
know? I seen a post that had a sister that had all these, you look on Instagram, women that showing their skill in violin or modesty, 1,000 followers,
Right.
800 followers.
Right.
But you look at, if you got women on there that show all swimsuit pictures and twerk videos and whatnot, they had 100,000, million followers.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
The question is, I seen a question, but how much, or how much did those likes cost you? How much dignity
Wow.
and respect did those likes cost you?
Right. Right.
So you sold your dignity and your respect for some likes?
Right. Right.
The artist, you gonna sell your soul
Right.
for a record deal?
For free.
Didn't Jay-Z say on there that you still asking for a record deal?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I heard
Right.
You
Looking
still working on advances?
advances.
Right.
While we taking real chances.
Are we taking real chances?
Right. Right.
So, you in a social, you in a virtual world, and you asking for a record deal?
Right. Wow.
Go on out there and promote yourself,
Right.
Absolutely.
and tell them to go to hell if they don't
Absolutely.
want it like you gonna give it.
Absolutely. Which
know?
goes back to why we need to stop caring about what people think about us, because at the end of the day, if you haven't been able to change that
Right.
in 400 years,
Ain't
what makes you
happening.
think one day in this day and time that that's going to change?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's why we have to care more about ourselves than anything.
that's right. Be ye not conformed
Right.
to the ways of this world,
Absolutely.
but be ye transformed
Absolutely.
by the
Renewing your
renewing of your mind. See,
right.
conformity and morality are two different concepts.
Right.
Conformity means that you do the wrong, or you do the wrong thing, or you do what's wrong, no matter how right something else is, and morality means that you do the right thing no matter how many people are doing the wrong thing.
Right.
So when you conform, you know what's right, but you still
Do the
do
wrong thing.
the wrong thing.
Right.
You know, you're not really secure as a woman or a man until the voice of God within you
Right.
is louder than all the voices outside of you.
Absolutely.
And when you get to that point, that's what you say. See, I don't care about what nobody says or
Right.
thinks, because the God in me said this is how it's supposed to be.
Absolutely.
So I ain't interested in winning no popularity contest. I'm
That's
trying
right.
to be right.
That's right. That's
And
the lead.
that's what we hope that, you know, I know that if we get that knowledge of self,
Yeah.
that we'll have that kind of love and pride in ourselves. And to take it to another level, knowledge of God is the knowledge of self.
Yes.
Because
Absolutely.
we're made in his image
Absolutely.
and after
People
his
miss
likeness.
that.
Yeah,
People
no,
miss that.
We're not a duplicate of God. We are a replica of God.
Yeah,
Right.
replica, yeah,
Right. We
replica,
are
yeah.
essentially semi-gods on this earth. We have the power of choice to kill,
The
to
only thing that
destroy,
exists with the
to
power of
create.
choice, yeah.
and we look at each other like, you know, we're bigger than that. This is a much bigger fight going on,
Yeah.
because we are living God.
See, God came to make us gods.
Right.
Come on.
So it's, I mean,
crazy.
ye are all gods, David says in Psalms
Right.
82, verse 6, children
Right.
Of the most
of the
high.
Most High God. There's a supreme being, but you just like him.
Right.
See, image and likeness means that when God looks at you, he sees himself. Our problem is when we look at ourselves, we don't see him.
Right.
Exactly.
Image and likeness means that everything that is true about God is also true about you.
Right.
That's what that image and likeness means. You're not a duplicate, you're a replica. You don't just look like, but you have the power and the function of.
Absolutely.
So there's nothing that God has done that you can't do
Right.
if you do it in his name.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
There
always
it is.
give honor to him as the supreme being and the reason by which you have your power.
Right.
But that's
Yeah.
how you bust up spookism.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's-
Even Christ said that you can do these works and greater.
And see now you see you done touched on something
Come
about
on.
that.
Right.
Because if you do scriptural math, see, if greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world, and then he said that you will even be able to do greater works than what I have done. Wait a minute. What about this? You judge a tree by the fruit it bears, and a man by his works. Well, if you judge a man by his works, and Jesus is telling us that we can do greater works than he has done, he's saying that I don't want you all to just be like me. I want you to stand on my shoulders and even be greater than me.
Wow.
That's a whole nother concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's what Jesus is inviting. So let this mind be in you.
Right.
The same mind that was in Christ Jesus. Paul. Look at what Jesus said. He said, be ye perfect. Not as I am, but be ye perfect as your
Father
Father
in heaven, which is in
Right.
in heaven art perfect. So we've been invited to the mind of God, and if as a man thinketh in his heart,
So is he.
so
Right.
if we're invited to have the mind of God, and as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. If you have the mind of God, you are God.
Right.
So, you know what you gonna do, God?
Right.
Yeah, see, I didn't
Right.
learn any of this growing up in church.
Yeah,
I don't know
me
about
either.
Right.
you.
Yeah,
We
you
didn't
don't-
get
yeah.
this.
So enlightened.
And
No,
it's
we
in
didn't.
the,
I
in the
learned this
scripture.
from the minister
Yeah.
and from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's where I learned it from. And keep in mind, I haven't even said a Quran verse yet. All of those were all scriptures.
Right.
Yeah.
Hold on, from the New Testament.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Red writing was a whole lot of them. Right? It was red writing. This is Jesus.
Absolutely.
So I'm saying that to say that I would hope too that the pastors of the churches will begin using the platform that they've been given to empower the people.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Don't make the people happy about being handicapped.
Come on.
Right. Right.
Don't make everybody feel good about being weak.
Right.
No, don't tell. Stop saying he died for you and start saying he gave his life.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the same principle, just said different.
Right.
Right.
But it does something different to the mind.
Right.
When I say he died for me, I think about the passion, the 24-hour death on the cross. But if I
Right.
say gave his life for me, now I'm studying the way he operated all the
Sacrifice.
time
Right.
he existed.
Right.
How did he handle children? What was his relationship to
Right.
knowledge? How did he deal with the poor?
Right.
How did he
Right.
deal with the government of his time?
Right.
What kind of principles did he have with money?
Right.
You know, see, when you study in his life, now you can become a follower of his.
Come on.
Absolutely.
Other than that, if all you looking at is the day he died, you're not a follower, you're a fan.
Right. Right.
Wow.
And that's the problem. We got too many Jesus fans
Fans, absolutely.
and not enough Jesus followers.
And that's why there's no action.
Yeah,
We
'cause
need more action.
Yeah, Jesus should be everywhere.
Right.
I mean, that term Christian, man, needs to be, there needs to be more value on it. If I call myself a Christian, I mean, that means that I'm trying to emulate Christ.
Yes.
Like I'm walking.
Christ-like.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
I'm walking with him.
See, in a pocket in a lot of people's mind, in a lot of people's mind, that Christian term can be leaned.
Yeah.
Because for everything from politics to education, if you are Christian, like, there's no way that the things that are going on today would exist.
Yeah. Well, we use religion as something we put on and we take off.
Right.
Right.
And to be honest, religion is a scam. It's a hustle.
Yeah.
It's big pimping.
Right.
It's what it has become.
Right.
You study the scripture. God never gave man religion.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
God gave man laws.
Yeah.
Right.
You give him laws. Yep.
Right.
Religion is a man-made system
Right.
that was organized, hopefully, with the intent on helping people have a structure and rituals by which they can practice those laws and become proficient at following them.
Right.
But as it stands right now, I wouldn't even call it Christianity. I'd call it churchianity.
Mm.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even call it Islam.
Mm-hmm.
I'll call it Hislam.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because it got more personal twist on it, more Arab
Right.
culture in it
Right.
than it has Quran.
Right.
And it has more paganism and white supremacy in it than it has the teachings of Jesus.
Absolutely.
So there's a
Absolutely.
big difference between the teachings of Jesus Christ and what is taught from the pulpit most of the time.
Right.
So that's a whole nother subject for another
Absolutely.
time. But I would hope that anyone that is a believer in Muhammad or a believer in Jesus, that you would not be an intellectual coward and spiritually lazy, where you don't pick up the book and read it for yourself. Because how could we be saying these things now about Psalms 82 verse 6, ye are all God's children of the Most High God? Nobody told me that in church.
Right.
You can do greater works than even what I have done, and you judge a tree by the fruit it bears and a man by his work. Nobody ever told us that Jesus wanted us to be not just like him, but better than him.
Right.
Let this mind be in you, the same mind that's in Christ Jesus. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So if I got the mind of Christ, which is the mind of God, I am a God.
Right.
No, nobody even told us these things, but these are Bible verses.
Right.
So something has to be done where, it's got to be a different kind of teaching.
Absolutely. What would you
Going on.
say to right now? There's a battle of people are waking up, but some people are becoming too woke. To the point where it's
Hotel.
scary. Like they going off into the abyss. It's getting away from the goal. The progressive goal.
Yeah,
What do you what do you say to those people who are trying to figure it out, to the people who are woke? Obviously they on another level. And I'm not against that. If that's helping you become more proactive and to help the community, then do it that way. But if it's not proactive, then I'm against it. And I see a lot of people fighting that logic. So what do you say to those who consider themselves woke, or those who are seeking the truth?
Well, there's a lesson we got from Master Father Muhammad, the teacher of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He said this: big fields await the wide awake man and woman to work out in. So the ultimate aim is to be wide awake.
Right.
But but how do you define whether someone's wide awake? Number one, they're working out in big fields. Now, do you know that a field is not just land, but it's all the different fields that we need to build a nation?
Right.
Engineering is a field. Medicine is a field.
Right.
Law is a field. These are all fields
Right.
of study, fields of business. So get into those with your wokeness.
Right. Absolutely.
And then it says, arise the dead by the thousands. So you can determine how awake somebody is, or whether they are really wide awake, not by how far they are in explanation of the chakras and
Right.
all that.
Right.
You know, you lost on the planet Zip-Zop somewhere, your body
Right.
on the ground, but your mind in outer space, and you
Right.
poor, broke, hungry, naked, and out of doors, living in your grandmama's basement.
But got the answer.
On your mama's cell phone bill, talking about you,
Right.
you woke. No, hell, you sleep. You
Right.
sleep walking.
Right.
Hell, you
Right.
might be the walking dead.
Right.
The Valley of Dry Bones.
No, to be
Absolutely.
wide awake, you got to be involved in those fields
Right.
that build a nation, and you
Yeah.
have to be able to affect not just a few people, but affect thousands.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of
That's great.
Other than that, anybody else that I call it spiritual gumbo.
Okay.
We was just in New Orleans about what 3-4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
They love gumbo.
Mm-hmm.
The gumbo got everything in it.
Yeah.
It's got all kind of stuff in it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to have that kind of mind
Right.
Wow.
Right.
where you got crawfish from this religion and
Mm-hmm.
clams from over there. And
Right.
no, you got to have a standard by which you
Yeah.
Right.
base truth on.
Right.
And what we believe is what God gave the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and the scripture should be your standard.
Right. Right.
You know, didn't it say something about lean not on thine own understanding?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Is it in there?
Yes.
But in all thy ways.
Was that
Acknowledge-
Proverbs 3,
So
5,
so
6?
if he's saying lean not, then that means that God already tested what you're gonna lean on.
Absolutely.
And he's found out that it does not have the approval nor the ability
Mm-hmm.
to support you a long time. Because if I lean on this, look, it can't hold me up.
Right.
So our own
Absolutely.
understanding is not structurally strong enough
Right.
to keep us up.
Right.
But if we lean on what he said,
Right.
the Lord of the worlds,
Absolutely.
and let that be the standard by which we base all truth on, then we won't be out there
Wonder.
on the planet
Right.
Zip-Zop
Absolutely.
somewhere.
Yeah.
It's a great explanation,
Involved in
man.
Yeah.
transcendental
Yes.
meditation, talking about that if I eat this clay and burn this incense, that all of a sudden my chakras will be lined up and I'll be able to levitate, and you can't even pay your bills.
And still eating McDonald's.
Yes,
Yeah.
at the draft. You have
You
to
ain't
draft.
woke.
So, my point is
Talking
that,
about, man, I'm God body.
no, you slave body
Yeah.
at this point whenever you got that madness in you. We were outside the other day, Sister Ebony, and we came out of we was in St. Louis, and we was walking. I said, man, we was looking at all these different, the whole strip
Yeah.
by the airport,
Mm-hmm.
all fast food restaurants. I said, man, I told the bro, I said, I think we have died more from drive-throughs than drive-bys.
Wow.
Wow.
Drive-throughs have killed
Wow.
more black people than
You are
drive-bys
correct.
have.
Yeah, you are correct. We're
And
dying young.
And I
People
wanted to
dying in
talk
their
about that
50s and
too.
60s, and it's just crazy.
I want to ask you about that too, Brother Nuri, because we talked about our our mental well-being, our financial well-being as a community. I wanted to talk about our physical well-being as a community.
Absolutely.
And I know that you, Brother Nuri, that you have a immaculate workout routine
Oh, Lord. I'm trying to get
to
there.
help you to keep looking like you're 21.
Oh, praise due to Allah.
I don't know if you care to share that routine, and talk to us about eating. I know we touched on it last time. We
Yeah.
talked about Eat to Live.
Mm-hmm.
And, just wanted to know, or want the community to know more about our physical well-being, what you do. Also, even the concept of one meal a day, because I do get a lot of people that, you still get those people that say, if I say, I just ate one time today. Oh, that's why you can't lose weight, because you only eating one time,
Right.
Or, they say you're supposed to eat 3 meals a day. Who
they.
is they? Right.
Yeah, who in
Right.
the hell is that?
Right.
The infant. Well, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us 2 books called How to Eat to Live. Not how to eat to be ripped. Not how to eat to be sexy. Not how to eat to be swole.
Right.
Now, I don't know about anybody else, but living is more important than all them other
Yes,
things.
it is.
Absolutely.
So when they start talking to you about, you got to eat 5 small meals to boost your metabolism,
Right.
and all that's true. But do you know, for every time you eat food, your digestive system has to work 1 day per meal. So if I ate 5 times in 1 day, my insides have to work 5 days to deal with my 1 day's
wow.
effort.
Didn't
So
know that.
what I'm doing is I'm living 5 days on the inside while I only existed 1 day in real time.
Wow.
So you study scripture and you see the life expectancy from Adam to Noah,
It's like 900 years.
912.
Wow.
That was the average life expectancy.
Wow.
And they counted a year the same way we do.
Right.
365 and 1/4 day in a year, 23 hours, 56 minutes, and 46 seconds for the earth to make one revolution on its axis, causing it to make a day.
Wow.
That's how it always been counted. But then you seen that after Noah, the flood didn't cover the whole earth, but that's another subject for another time. But they started eating meat. Still never ate swine. Didn't even eat any blood of animals. But they did start eating meat.
Right.
And prior to then, according to scripture, every herb-bearing seed was for them as meat. I mean,
Okay.
everybody was vegetarians.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Now they starting to eat meat. And from Noah to Abraham, it goes down to 230 some years.
Oh man.
Just off of changing from
Diet.
Yeah.
meat that came into the
Wow.
picture. Then you go from Abraham to Jesus and it goes down. Of course, you go now and you're talking about 74. Years of age is the life expectancy.
Right.
When the body was built to last 1,000 years.
Wow.
Adam and Eve were still having children when they were 630.
Oh man.
Both, male and female. Still producing. You see a sister pregnant and she 37. You start to go, oh my Lord.
Right. Oh yeah.
Yo, wow, what you doing?
Right.
37?
Right. Right.
She's 630.
Right.
So, something has happened, and it's deep because you look in the Bible, there's no such thing as a restaurant.
Yeah.
You notice that?
Right.
Wow.
No pharmacies.
Mm-hmm.
There's no pharmacies mentioned in the scripture.
Mm.
I never even read about a hospital.
Mm. That's big.
I read about people coming to do treatment, but I never read about them being stuck in no place.
Right.
So something must have been different and better for them than it is for us. So, if you want to live, how to eat to live is the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
The scripture says that the body is the temple of God.
Mm-hmm.
And any man that defile the temple shall be destroyed. Brother on the radio, I asked the same question.
Yeah.
And somebody called in and said, look, this is just flesh. This ain't nothing but my earth suit.
Earth suit.
Earth suit. I don't care nothing about this. This ain't me.
Wow.
Oh my God. Wow.
Wow.
I said, well, let me ask you this, my brother. I said, if you knew that the first car that you ever received was going to be the only car you would have for the rest of your life, how would you have treated that car? You see where I'm going?
Absolutely.
He's like, oh, brother, I would have kept him clean.
Right.
Anytime I seen something wrong, I would have fixed it. I said,
Right.
let me ask you this. What kind of fuel would you have put in it? No, not none of that 87. I would put that premium.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You would have put premium fuel in a car that you knew you had to keep for the rest of your life.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, you said this your earth suit. This the only one you're going to get. What kind of fuel you willing to put in this vehicle?
Right.
Car gets you from the east side to the west side. This body is what God uses
Right.
to travel in on the earth. How you going to handle his vehicle?
Right.
So, that in that sense, we should be concerned. The minister writes every letter and opens them all up the same. May this letter find you in the best of health and spirit. Because those are the two most important things.
Absolutely.
If you got good health and you got a good spirit or a good attitude, if you can have a good health and good spirit coexisting in one organism at the same time, whoever has both of them at the same time is an unstoppable man or an unstoppable woman. So that's the goal,
Right.
And health is not fitness.
Right.
You need fitness too.
Right.
Health means that all of your systems inside of your body work at an optimal level. Fitness means that you can engage in an athletic activity and be able to achieve what the muscles can do.
Right.
So you want both of them. So
Right.
eating to live and trying to be fit to live and thinking to live
Right.
is very important. And because of that, we follow 1 meal a day, and we try to fast 3 days out of the month.
Right.
I haven't eaten any meat in 27 years.
Wow.
27 years. It's been 27 years now.
Wow.
Fish too? You don't eat fish?
I eat fish every
Okay,
now and then.
okay.
But I haven't eaten any chicken or any form of meat in 20-some since I was 17 years old.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
17, let me see. 25 years.
Yeah.
25 years. But that, and then
It's
I
incredible.
wasn't really a vegetarian though, bro, Pat. I just was a Negro that didn't eat meat.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
It is.
Right. Right.
You call yourself a vegetarian, but you eating pizza,
Right.
spaghetti, and cake all the time.
Yeah.
That ain't no base word of vegetarian is vegetables.
Yes.
Right.
You got to eat a lot of vegetables if you're
Right.
gonna be a real vegetarian. But I
Absolutely.
just was a Negro that didn't eat no meat.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I done blew up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the brothers didn't even tell me that I was fat. They didn't even tell me. I'm at the gym. I got on a scale.
Yeah.
I said, "Hey, does this work?" They're like, "Yeah, we get on. It's fine." I was 180 pounds, and I'm only 5'4".
Yeah.
So, hey, I'm on my way to another
Right.
professor now.
Right.
And I said, "Oh," I was so hurt.
Yeah.
I said, "Why didn't y'all tell me I done got fat?" Nobody ain't tell me nothing. So I started running,
Yeah.
and I liked it.
Right.
So it became, like what I call an anti-drug, and I like it. So
Yeah.
I run, and I probably right now I do between an hour and a half of cardio every day,
Yeah.
and I lift weights, and I try to do 6 days a week.
Oh wow.
So that's been something that's a good stress reliever, good
Yeah.
way to start your day.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how that if you go in early, and how that victory
Mm-hmm.
that you get for doing something good for yourself that you really didn't feel like doing,
Mm-hmm.
how that'll set the tone
For the day.
for the whole
Yes.
day.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
that's
Man,
my,
that's stringent.
Yeah,
that's
6
my
days.
It
6
is.
days a week.
Hour and
That's
a
what I do.
half.
Yeah, and rested
Yeah,
on the
today
7th.
I did the movable stairs.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did an hour and 40 minutes on level 11
Wow.
Wow.
on those movable stairs.
Wow.
And then I lifted weights and I walked 3 miles.
Stairmaster.
Wow.
After
I
that.
think that's what it's called.
So
Yeah.
that's I like
Right.
it though.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I'm on there studying,
Mm-hmm.
listening to audiobooks, taking notes, phone calls, emails.
Wow.
I'm in there acting crazy.
Still working.
I almost fall off there 4 or 5 times a day, but I'm still
working.
Yes,
Yeah.
But that's kind of
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. And people have to realize that everybody's body is different.
that's right.
You know, what works for you may not
That's
work
right.
for other people.
Right.
They may pass out,
Very
you know.
good point.
I find that my girlfriend, I almost killed her. I didn't mean to. I started you get them
Put
you
on
get
your
on
regimen.
YouTube. Yeah, you get on YouTube. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? I'm used to it 'cause I used to be an athlete. I said, "Come on, boy." After about 5 minutes, she said, "My heart hurts." She's like, "I had to sit down." I said, "My fault. I totally forgot." That she's smaller frame. Different abilities.
Yeah.
I couldn't expect her to do the same thing that I was doing, and I'm like, "Come on, let's go." This is what you want. You've been talking about. You want. So I had to wise up a little bit.
Yeah.
But so everybody's different.
That's a
know.
good point. And you do what you like.
Right. Right.
You have to get in there. They got so many things that you
Yes.
can do now. Walking is the best exercise if you're getting a good one in.
Yeah.
You're putting, not just playing, but
Yeah.
walk. But you have the elliptical machines now.
Love those.
You
Yeah.
have the stairs. You have the treadmill. You have hill programs. You
Yeah.
have CrossFit.
Yep.
You have kickboxing. You have boxing.
Right.
Your job, you got to find out what you like.
Right.
And that what can I do that's going to get my heart rate up that I can keep it up for a consistent amount of time and I'm actually enjoying it.
Right. Right.
And that's your regimen. The minister said it like this. He said, "You are what you eat,
Absolutely.
and even more what you think."
Oh boy.
So man, woman, we are made up of what we put in our mind and what we put in our mouth.
Right.
He said this. He said, even if you eat in one meal a day, at a certain time, your metabolism is going to adjust for that.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to incorporate exercise if you don't want to gain weight.
Absolutely.
He recommended 30 minutes a day and 1 hour a day of study.
Oh.
So
okay.
if we did 30 minutes a day of exercise,
Yep.
and then had 1 hour of reading the right material to exorcise our minds,
Yep.
and we ate the right foods in that day, and we set goals and went and did good, noble work,
Yep.
we'd be living in heaven right here on earth.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. There's
That's
just a
it.
couple of more things I want to talk to you about.
Yes, sir.
One is recently. I mean, we're still battling the thing between the police and just regular civilians, and there's teachings being taught to young children on how to interact with police, but there's not any training on how to interact with children. What must we do? And again, Dominic Dorsey is an advocate for that, because him and his team Don't Sleep are out there fighting for media corrections. They are actually having media outlets change their text, because their texts are saying things like, he was reaching for a gun. You'd be amazed how that small sentence
Yes.
could change somebody's mind on the whole thing, and they're going in and having them take that stuff out, and they're doing it because
Man,
they have no
beautiful.
evidence. So it's great that we have, warriors out there that advocate for that.
Shout out to Dominic Dorsey, man.
But what must we do, not only for our children, but for us, and trying to figure out how to interact with officers. And we have several. There's good officers. We don't want to take away from the good officers, because there's a lot of officers out there doing great work.
Right.
But for some reason, the media is able to take the bad situations that we consider bad and show that there is a reason for that to happen. So it gives us a different look from the media's perspective. It makes us think that, well, what did he do? First thing we thought is, well, what did he do? To get shot. It's not, maybe the officer got scared. Maybe it was an accident. Nobody's thinking about that. They're automatically saying, well, what did he do? And where did he live? And how did he grow up? How do we fix that?
That's the first thing too. I always say that if there are some officers that are not doing bad, but there's not enough officers that are good that are willing to stand up to those that are bad.
That's a good point.
See, if you are a good officer, and that these are a few bad apples in a bunch, as you say, why come you haven't never said anything to them to check them?
Right.
But we have conversations with black officers, from the ranking patrolman all the way up into the high positions. And black officers in the police department here and other places are catching hell like black people in the streets are catching from white officers. Unfortunately, the law enforcement, if you study the origin of
Absolutely.
policing,
Right.
see, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said this. He said that the law under which a thing comes into existence gives that thing its nature.
Right.
Its nature is what controls it. It's
Right.
its function.
Right.
So if you say the word officer fast, or continue to repeat it fast, it ends up, or the word overseer fast, it becomes officer. The original officers were overseers.
Yes. Yeah.
And those that were officers with badges were the ones that hunted down runaway slaves. So the law under which a thing comes into existence gives it its nature.
Right.
So when you look at the Ku Klux Klan, the police department, that's what you're looking at, the Ku Klux Klan. This is their mind that they came. And unfortunately, the police system has been a magnet for the Good Old Boys Network for many, many years.
Yeah.
We need good black police officers, and we need good officers in the law enforcement, but we don't need you just to do good in the streets. We need you to do good inside the break room,
Right.
at roll call, and we need you to check and handle those that are inside of law enforcement that are not there to serve and protect. If you're so good, then we need you to stand up to those that are so bad
Absolutely.
to us. And we've been taught as a code of ethics by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad that we should respect all people,
Right.
whether they respect themselves or you or
Right.
not.
Right.
So even when the police come, you should say, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, sir. No, ma'am. And you should handle them with respect. and treat them the way you would like to be treated.
Absolutely.
But I trained my son
Mm-hmm.
that look, listen, son, I'm not going to teach you to be no punk
Right.
for nobody.
Right.
I don't care what they wearing or who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And I told my son that it's better to die on your feet than to live on your knees. And that a coward dies 1,000 deaths, but a soldier dies but once. So after you are respectful, I don't care who it is in the streets and if they try to take you out, then you try to take them out. That's the way I train my son, and that's the code of ethics. That's a sane person's code of ethics.
Right.
So I'm not really for us training our children or this fearless generation to be cowards just because of racist people in positions of power. No, stand on truth, stand on justice, be respectful, be right, and if you are attacked, fight with those who fight with you in the name of God, and may He grant you with a victory.
And know the law.
Yeah, and be respectful of the law. If the law is that you have to show them your ID, give them your ID. That is the law.
Right.
You know, but you don't have a right to mistreat or mishandle me
Right.
just because you have authority.
Right.
You know, technically all of them are your employees.
Right.
Your tax money paid for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree. Yeah, you more so than teaching everybody how to get out of a situation when they in it.
Right.
Now teach them how to handle the people.
Mm-hmm.
And let's put people in the community that can police it that look like the people that live in that community.
Absolutely.
Period. And guess what? If y'all can't do it, stop sending them into our community and let the real men in that community stand up and say, you know what? From henceforth now, we are asking for all of the tax dollars y'all normally give to IMPD for this area.
Yeah.
We want it to be here for the 100 black men. And we are in conjunction with the Nation of Islam, FOI. And we have signed on, and we have 15 brothers from Light of the World and 30 brothers from Eastern Star. We are all together. We are going to police our own community. And we demand that the tax money y'all normally give them, y'all give to us, and we'll hire ourselves. And guess what we can do? Everybody, you Crip, you Blood, you GD, you Vice Lord, that's what you are? Well, how would you like to be hired to engage in community patrol?
Right. Right.
To make sure our neighborhood is a clean and decent place to live in.
There you go.
You can't hustle.
Right.
You can't be disrespectful. You can't violate. You got to dress this. Next thing you know, those same brothers that we call destroyers of the community become the saviors of our community. And they make it $27 an hour.
Channeling what they're good at.
But we have the right to do that because it's our money.
Right.
So, it's layers to this. But
that's a big one.
Yeah,
and that makes a lot of sense.
ultimately we're going to have to take the money and hire ourselves to police our own communities.
Right.
But until then,
Right.
if you're a man, be a man.
Right.
And you shouldn't need money to look out for the elderly in your community.
Right.
Should nobody have to cut you a check to come out early in the morning when school starts to make sure our little girls get on there without no pedophile
Absolutely.
messing with them?
Absolutely.
Even if you don't have no children going to school.
Right.
Should nobody have to pay us to come clean up the trash in the neighborhood?
Right.
Should nobody have to pay us to go and find out where the elderly live in our neighborhood and cut their grass for free?
Right.
Rake their leaves, shovel their snow.
Right.
Look out for them. That's what men do.
Right.
So, I think that if we do that in each community as the men on that block, in that neighborhood,
Absolutely.
then we'll solve a lot of these problems, and we'll let the police know, hey, we don't need y'all over here.
Right. Right.
We got this locked down and
Absolutely.
secured.
They don't realize how big that is. Because, it's almost like when we were talking about education, and in some forms of fashion, you can't have one facet of education because you're teaching different types of people.
Right.
So you need multiple different types of education to fit those people. The same thing with community policing.
Yes.
You know, we know our people better than anybody. You know, we know how they move, what they think, and what's going on. It's amazing that they haven't put a team together or put any tax dollars toward a team that is just for that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's amazing
It's too
that
much
hasn't
like
happened.
right, though, brother Ray.
Yeah.
What you're
Yeah,
saying is too
yeah.
much like right.
Right.
Yep.
And
It's too much unity.
And you can't overtrain or outtrain nature. See, in the psychology of most of the white male police officers, you are the opposite of me as a black male. Therefore, you are a threat to me. So it's always I thought he was
Right. Right.
reaching for.
Suspect.
Yeah, because in your mind you came to the equation with a predetermined idea you were born with
Right.
to see him as your opposition.
Right.
So, but when you and we brothers of each other, I see you already know. I can read you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know if you got a gun or don't have one.
Right.
I can tell. Hey, brother, yeah, he's all right. He's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on some syrup.
Right.
Yeah, it's that lean.
Right. Right.
Yeah, he just got finished getting blasted.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
come here, brother. Come here.
Right.
So we know how to handle
Right.
our people because we are them.
Right.
And it's going to take us as men standing up.
Yeah.
And then, since we're not getting justice, then we need to put on our own uniforms,
Right.
police our own communities,
Right.
and make city government fund us
Right.
the way that they fund those that are supposed to be doing the job.
Man, that is the ultimate solution.
And it don't cost no more money.
Right.
Don't. We're just taking the
But
money
I
back.
promise you, I know some soldiers that would love to be over there taking care of their neighborhood for
Yeah,
$27 an hour.
Absolutely. Yeah. And do it the right way.
With pride and love.
Yeah.
And you'll see a whole community change, or all the communities would change if we was given that opportunity and platform.
Right. And that ties into, and you touched on a little bit about cleaning up the community, and which is my last question to you, and what we need to do, because there was some stuff in the news. I look at the news, but I don't always believe it. I just look at it to stay refreshed and understanding of what perspective they're looking at things at.
Yes,
and it's
sir.
always odd to me. But there was something in the news recently of a man who just moved up to Fishers or Carmel, somewhere in that area, and what was said was that somebody sent him a letter that said he needs to clean up because he lives in an area where they clean up and they keep their. So they was telling him he needs to clean up his yard and all that. And I was saying, you know
This
what?
is not the ghetto.
While I see the truth in that, I hate the message. How the message was, because there's a lot of truth in that. I'm a homeowner. I take care of my house, and I take care of it with pride. I make sure that I don't care who put the trash in my yard. I go pick it up. We don't, in our community, a lot of us don't have that.
Right.
They see trash. Well, I didn't put it there, so I'm not going to pick it up. What do we need to do to change this narrative? Because that's a new fight. Now it's the stereotype of, if you come to my neighborhood, you're not going to clean up and take care of it like us. Because when I go to your neighborhood, look how it is.
Right. Well, I don't want to live in your neighborhood. I don't want to live around you. Personally, I don't want
Sure.
to. Y'all got nice stuff and all that. That's fine. But a pleasure moment to my mind is seeing my own people.
Right.
So I don't like being in a insecure environment. Knowing who I might be around
Right.
is going to see me as their enemy and then mishandle me or mine. So I'd rather be in the hood. So our goal is really, the new mantra for us has to not be let's get out the hood. The new mantra for us has to be let's stay in the hood and get it right.
Right. Right.
So what you're doing is setting an example. And once you set an example, the minister said it like this. He said the only way to produce change in others is to lead by example.
Right.
As you began to, and I don't know if it happened, but when I came, the neighborhood I live in was not that nice, and it's not that nice. But I came in and I put that Scotch 2 down. Y'all know what that is. The dandelion killer. My grass start looking green. Next thing you know, neighbors start saying, well, hey, what is that? So forth. So if you want some, yeah, I got you. Let me go get next. Then across the street. Then they little righteous competition start going on. Next thing you know, the whole neighborhood starts getting green and hey, can I ask you something? Who did your landscaping? Oh, my brother, so forth, so forth. Hey, can you have his number? Next thing you know, everybody digging up, planting different trees.
Right.
And this is the concept. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said this: that environment is stronger than heredity. The environment that we are in can override even our genetic makeup.
Wow.
Okay.
You cannot have clean, organized thoughts in a dirty, disorganized environment.
Right.
So however you want to think, that's where you live has to look.
Right.
Otherwise, where you live and how it looks will be how you think.
Absolutely.
So it becomes an imperative that no matter who threw the trash out there, I got to clean it up for my own sanity.
Right.
For my own clean, organized thoughts. I can't leave this out here like that. And you know, like I know, the brothers always make fun of me too. Brother, why you keep picking up all the trash? You're not throwing it out here.
Right.
I said, brother, you ever heard of something called wind? When the wind blow, it'll be mine eventually. If I don't pick it up now.
Right.
So I'm asking, why don't y'all help pick up sometime, or don't throw none out here too?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's amazing. I
So-
mean, it
so
needs to
it's-
happen. Yeah.
You know, it's something that we have to take pride in, and it don't cost any money
Right.
to be organized and to be clean.
Because a lot of things that are happening are, the talk of these neighborhoods. And I'm with you. We need to clean up our own neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Take advantage of the opportunity to showcase and be the example that, hey, we don't need nobody to spend any extra tax dollars.
Right.
We can come out here as a community and do it ourselves. And there's a lot of teams, including your team, your organization. There's a lot of organizations willing to do that, but
Yes,
we
sir.
need more.
Yes, sir.
We need more advocates and people, out here doing that. So, maybe that's something we can take on. P. Wills is, go to some neighborhoods and try and be a prime example and show people like, look, this trash has been here for a whole week.
Yeah.
I drive past here all the time, but
just pick it
we're going
up.
to pick it up. And next week we're gonna do the same thing.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep doing it until they get
until
it.
it catches on.
Yeah.
And that it is, the outside does reflect the inside.
Yes. Sir.
Yeah.
See, the reason why why we call it the hood
Why is that?
is because the principal concept and function of neighbor doesn't exist no more.
Right.
It's really supposed to be neighborhood,
Yeah, but it's,
but we not neighbors no more.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just hood.
The function of neighbor is gone.
Yeah.
Back in the day, everybody would whoop your behind if they heard you cussing outside.
Right.
That was neighborhood.
Right.
Back in the day, everybody looked out for one another. You can borrow eggs from here, sugar from there.
Right.
That was neighborhood.
can't do that now.
You could, if somebody caught you cutting across somebody else's grass, they'll be out yelling at you.
Right.
Get off of, you better get off that. You know they just got finished putting that stuff on there. Get off there.
Right.
So that was neighborhood.
Right.
Right.
We got to get back to that concept
Right.
of neighbor
Right.
and put it back in the hood so it can become neighborhood again. And the way we
Absolutely.
do it is through those things. Unfortunately, though, Brother Pat, that, as a man thinketh, and his heart, so is he. Do you know that a hood is also a piece of fabric you attach to the back of a shirt or a jacket that covers the head? See, the hood is nothing more than a physical environment that is a reflection of the collective consciousness of the people that share space and time in one location.
Wow.
So when you see the hood dirty and disorganized and junk, that's because that's what the thinking of the people that share that space is. That's
Right.
their collective consciousness manifests in physical form.
Right.
So the real formula for cleaning up the hood is not necessarily picking up trash out the streets, but going to pick up that garbage out their mind.
Wow.
Right.
And if you can take that garbage out their mind and get them to want to put some good stuff in the mind, they'll put the right stuff in the neighborhood and keep trash out the streets.
Absolutely.
So it's a great struggle, and
Yeah.
my brother, the great rapper Talib Kweli, he had a
Yeah.
song called "The Beautiful Struggle."
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what the freedom and liberation
Yeah.
of our people is. It's the beautiful struggle.
Absolutely.
It's a struggle, but it's beautiful,
Yeah.
Right.
because of the great reward that you get by seeing people change.
Right.
And even if people don't change, the great reward that God himself gives you for trying.
Yes.
Right.
It's all worth it. You don't lose trying to help the poor and the oppressed, you
Right.
always win.
Always.
Yes, sir.
Wow, that's beautiful, man. Man, this has been a great discussion,
Yeah.
man.
Thank you, brother Ray. I've been enjoying myself
wow.
as well, my brother.
Been
Absolutely.
enlightened times 10. You know, I
over here.
thought you learned me some stuff last time. You learned
Yeah,
me
I'm over here
some
soaking
new
in it,
stuff
man.
this
Oh,
time.
man, praise be to God.
And it's beautiful because this is what we need to do.
Yes, sir.
You know, continue to have this dialogue. You know, man, as brilliant as you are, man. And I know, you know, I say that because I've listened to you, you know, several times, and I'm right here, you know, listening to you in person, and I can't say enough about the great character that you have, you know, in all facets, and the respect that you showcase for others, you know, whether it's religion or whatnot. You speak on facts and not just jargon, you know, and I appreciate that, you know. So you speak to someone who isn't Islam, you know, in the organization that you represent, but respects it, you know, because of how you carry yourself, you know, and that gives me a confidence, you know, and seeing, when I see brothers like you guys out here, you know, it ain't just you guys out here selling bean pie, you know, what the stigma, the stereotype is. You guys are actually
inner stereotypes,
doing great things, and I can go tell other people that, you know, and
Thank you,
continue to share this. So I just appreciate you for coming on here, and your brother here. Man, this has been great, and you know, we'd like to have you again. You
Well,
know,
I can't wait. I look forward to it. I look
Absolutely.
forward
You know,
to it. I've been excited all day.
yeah,
Just
man.
to be able to come and be with my sister and
Yeah.
my brothers, and you know, I hope that you all don't let, you know, black people, don't let us wear you down.
Yes, sir.
Keep
For
on
sure.
pushing. You know,
Absolutely.
To do this work, you have to love black people more than they hate themselves.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
the formula.
Yep.
And keep on calling the best out of them
Yes.
Yeah.
and the best out of each other.
Absolutely.
Just keep calling it out of each other, because it's greatness is in us.
Yeah.
We just have not had somebody touch it, and we haven't had an environment
Yeah.
of freedom, justice, and equality by which we can manifest.
Absolutely.
But let's keep, please, brothers.
Oh,
please,
yes.
y'all
We gonna keep
up the
doing
good
this.
work. I'm so
Absolutely, man. We
so
will.
proud
Thank
to
you.
see this
Thank you.
in Indianapolis, and of course going all over the world
Absolutely.
with the message, and really, you know, having a dialogue on subjects that are relevant to us becoming a better version of ourselves and a better
Absolutely.
community tomorrow than what we are today.
Yes.
So thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. for
Thank
coming.
you. Ebony.
As usual, it's always great having you on, Brother Nuri. I'd like to thank you for more fuel for the fire and more arsenal for the fight.
Praise be to
You know,
Allah.
I just, you know, like you said, sometimes we can just get so worn down from the fight that, you know, we just need that refueling. And I feel like every time you come on the show and every
Oh,
time I
thank
hear
you
you,
so much.
you know, I
Praise
get
be
that
to
extra
Allah.
boost and motivation to just keep it up and, you know, stay the course.
Yes,
So
man.
I just want to thank you for that.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
P. Wills.
Wow. I mean, you know, I mean, there's so much that I want to say. Thank you, man, for coming. I mean, your humility, man, is unbelievable. I mean, you know, it's rare to find, you know, people, you know, especially, you know, brothers that are so God-fearing and like humble, man, like you.
Yep.
You know, I sit over here, man. You know, I'm kind of quiet because I'm just soaking up all that wisdom, man, that you're just giving us. You know, that's powerful, man. So, you know, thank you, man, for coming. And you know, to, you know, all the viewers, you know, out there, you know, thank you for tuning in. I mean, I really hope that anyone listening really learned something,
Yes.
you know, and gained something for, you know, what was, you know, being given by Brother Nuri.
Good stuff.
Great stuff, man. Yeah. The scripture says that, you know, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word became flesh. You know, people can take that literally or metaphorically, but
Yes, sir.
if you sit there and, you know, if I tell people that they're great, you know, that they're beautiful, that God has created them, you know, in His image and His likeness, that you have a purpose, those words could hopefully mold you into, you know, something great and where you are supposed to be. If I tear you down with words, that will manifest itself in your actions and just your physical form.
That's right.
So when you see yourself, man, I say this, a lot, that we are all connected. So when I see you, I should see myself.
That's right.
And, we should just do our best to, work on ourselves and try to help each other.
Yep.
Good teaching. That's right.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And
I love y'all.
yeah.
Thank y'all so much.
Hey,
I love you too, man. Thank
wow, incredible. We, this is inspiring, and I'll leave it with this. This is what people should be motivated after they go to church or wherever they go to get enlightened.
Yeah.
You should be amped up and fueled to get out there and help more people, share the word, fired up, because it not only gives you confidence, but it shows you that you're going in the right direction.
Yes,
So everything you've been saying, a lot of things I look at in my life, I'm like, wow, I've been going on the right path for a while and didn't even know I was on the right path, because no one is there to affirm that. So, these kind of conversations, not only for myself, but I'm sure hundreds of people are going to say the same thing. So thank you again.
Yeah, thank you.
And we'll be seeing you guys next time. Thanks to our viewers for always just supporting us and loving us and sharing our feeds, man. This is not recent, but over 300 shares right now. That's probably going to quadruple, be over 600-700. But that right there is powerful.
Yes, sir.
It's powerful, and it shows us that, what we're doing, we got to keep doing it. Like you
right.
said, man, we're not giving up on this, and we just going to keep sharing it with people. We love everybody, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you.
Peace.
Peace.
Welcome to the Gray Area. The Gray Area Media. We've obligated ourselves to be the voice for all communities, speaking on topics that include community, religion, education, politics, technology, sports, health, and wellness. The Gray Area Media is a platform created by longtime friends for the sole purpose of providing our communities with the ability to voice current, past, and modern-day issues. The Gray Area, in its naming significance, solely speaks to the area in which people shy away from speaking because of media-based constraints or contractual-based obligations. Well, I'm here to tell you, we don't do that here. So please, stay tuned in. We're going to go live in a few minutes. Don't forget, please add us as a friend on Facebook so that you can follow our live feed. And not only that, please add us on Twitter and Instagram at The Gray Area Media. Please visit our website at www.thegrayareamedialive.com. Thank you.